in Walk Hard when they say that Dewey Cox invented punk rock when he breaks up with his wife and he does cocaine for the first time and he's all angry and at sound check he's like louder, faster, and he's screaming the lyrics to his country song and someone in the band stops and they're like, you sound like some kind of punk. No one's going to want to listen to that music. But it sounds like that song to me, which kind of sounds like cowpunk. But what do you guys think of the video?
It was trippy, man.
Yeah.
I guess you could call that music.
Yeah. Well, I liked it, but I like the Butthole Surfers. And before they sounded kind of musical and trip-hoppy in that song Pepper, their first few... Have you heard their first few records? And I really liked them and, like... No. I remember my friend Brian Childers, who was in Bomb and was in... the singer in Beef People and was briefly in Bomb as a bass player and backup singer on one tour. And he also has the scream at the beginning of Happy All the Time, Power Suggestion, where it goes, ah! And then the song starts. You know, that's Brian. But he said one time he saw the Butthole Surfers at some club in New York, and he said that in the middle of the set, like, somebody threw a beer bottle at the band, and it hit Gibby, the singer, like square in the head and knocked him unconscious. And he just like, he's playing guitar and singing, and he just, and there were strobe lights on stage that they brought with him, and he just kind of like, you just saw him like in slow motion tip completely back forward and just bang, land on his back, unconscious on the stage. And he was unconscious for like 30 or 45 seconds. And when he hit, the guitar made this noise like ka-chunk, and they had all these echoes on everything, on the guitars and on the vocals, and so it went like ka-chunk, 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 until it was just like shaking the room and louder than the band. And then he kind of like woke up and stumbled up and turned it off. But you know, they've got some legendary Stardust Cowboy in them too. But tell me about the David Bowie connection, Phil, with the legendary Stardust Cowboy.
Well, so the way David Bowie tells the tale is he listened to their song. I forget the song. I think it's the one that you sent me.
Something about space. Yeah.
Right, and he actually named Ziggy Stardust after this legendary Stardust Cowboy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were on the same label, like Bowie's first label when he was unknown and he was an acoustic musician. I think it was Mercury Records. Yeah.
Right.
He got hit, like, you know, when you get signed a lot, they'll give you whatever records they have on their label as a gift. You know, that's why we didn't sign with Atlantic. The guy had some records to give us, and we were like, we want the complete Led Zeppelin connection right now. And he's like, I don't have the key. I could send them to you. And we're like, okay, we're going with Warner Brothers.
Paralyzed was the song, by the way.
Yeah. Paralyzed. It's just Paralyzed, just screamed over and over with. Back when, you know, songs about insanity were all the rage, and They're Coming to Take Me Away, and meow.
The Freedom Fiends now have a free app for your Android phone, tablet, phablet, or other Chrome robot turd, available now from the Google Play Store, Amazon, and FreedomFiends.com. Lovingly handcrafted by head hamster Michael W. Dean, the artisanal Freedom Fiends radio app allows you to listen live, keep up with the podcast, chat directly with other fiends, get discounts on bigger buttons, brainwash yourself with a 24/7 random episode, and so much more. You know the Freedom Fiends is the best libertarian radio show in the world, but when the fiends aren't live, you can use the app to listen to LRN.FM from anywhere. The Freedom Fiends radio app is like having a virtual libertarian re-education camp in your pocket. It's your gateway to the exclusive high-demand group that is the Freedom Fiends. Install the Freedom Fiends radio Android app today. It's free, and of course it's covered by the VIPCOT no government license. And get ready for lip hair with the Freedom Fiends radio app for Android. Worms.
Hunters, anglers, camp.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by Freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, May 29th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.37 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,267 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1 cent, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,262. Antiwar.com reports the U.S.-led coalition has attacked a convoy full of civilians fleeing Raqqa, the capital of the Islamic State, hitting them near the towns of Ratla and Qasra and killing at least 20 people, according to reports from the Syrian state media. This is the latest in a flurry of attacks by U.S. forces against targets in the eastern half of Syria, centered roughly around Raqqa and other territory held by the Islamic State, with well over 100 civilians killed in previous strikes, most of them family members of fighters for the Islamic State. While the exact identity of these civilians were not known in the latest strikes, they probably were not family members of the Islamic State fighters because they weren't fleeing territory held by the Islamic State. This makes the incident particularly problematic from the U.S. perspective, even if officially they have yet to address it, and Defense Secretary James Mattis is downplaying concerns about killing civilians in general. U.S. designs on eventually having their allies in the Kurdish YPG invade Raqqa are going to depend heavily on their ability to get at least some of the civilians out of the city to keep civilian casualties limited. Those evacuations will be hard to push if the U.S. is attacking those fleeing. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports BMW is recalling 45,484 older Model 7 Series cars in the United States because the doors could open unexpectedly while being driven, according to the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. The German company's recall covers cars from 2005 to 2008 with a door latching system equipped with comfort access and soft door close options, according to the NHTSA. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said in these vehicles the doors can appear to be closed, although it has stopped in a position where the main latching mechanism is not fully engaged. Thus, an external influence such as an irregular road surface or an inadvertent interior contact by a vehicle occupant with the door could result in an unexpected opening of the door while being driven. On March 8th, NHTSA contacted BMW after receiving complaints from customers. The complaints involve two issues: where the door cannot close before driving off, and another where the door could become unexpectedly open while driving. After a review, the BMW problem solution team came to the conclusion that it could be possible for a door to unexpectedly open while driving in the case where one of the hardware components of the latch or door handle could fail. The documents did not say if the problem had caused any crashes or injuries. BMW says they are currently determining a remedy. The company also noted to the NHTSA that the issue is related to the 2012 recall of 7,485 model years 2005 to 2007 7 Series vehicles. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend-A-Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Reuters reports the United States government might ban laptops from aircraft cabins on all flights into and out of the country as part of a ramped-up effort to protect against potential security threats, according to the Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly. In an interview on Fox News Sunday, Kelly said the United States planned to raise the bar on airline security, including tightening screenings of carry-on items. Kelly said that's the thing that they are obsessed with, the terrorists, the idea of knocking down an airplane in flight, particularly if it's a U.S. U.S. carrier, particularly if it's full of U.S. people. In March, the government imposed restrictions on large electronic devices in aircraft cabins on flights from 10 airports, including the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Turkey. Kelly said the move would be part of a broader airline security effort to combat what he calls a real sophisticated threat. He said no decision has been made as to the timing of any ban. Airlines are concerned that a broad ban on laptops might erode customer demand. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. This week, mothers across the nation invented a new drug to worry about, confirming that the completely fictitious new substance was appearing in schoolyards across the nation and is easily created from simple household products like sugar, window cleaner, and petroleum jelly. Calling the totally made-up narcotic scramp, mothers in desperate need of something to fret over deluded themselves into constantly agonizing over the widespread drug epidemic that exists solely in their minds.
My son sits in his room for hours and hours. It must be scramp. He's a scramp head. I bet they'll figure out how to scramp with this too.
In other news, a man confidently strides through a beaded curtain without parting it. A father takes a picture of his daughter every day from birth until he abandons his family. And the same homeless man is always begging for change on the same United flight. Stalled contract negotiations have prevented me from reviewing any more news until I receive a co-producer credit. But for more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything that you want. Yes, that's right. We're here live on Memorial Day. When a lot of shows probably take the day off, we're here. We'll take your calls, and it's open phones as always. Joining you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
And so let's start tonight. Mark, you had a story that was Memorial Day-esque, relevant to war, for instance, which is, part and parcel of why people celebrate today. They don't openly celebrate war, I don't think, but they are...
It's kind of Westboro-ish to celebrate today.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's a day in memorial of a bunch of dead people.
Yeah, but don't people have cookouts and, drink a lot?
Yeah, and that's what makes it weird, because I'm, trying to not be a whole bunch of words I can't say, trying to not be Westboro about the whole thing. Not that I have a great desire to do that anyway, but then statists are having cake and barbecues and celebrating the death of their own, and that just makes it kind of awkward.
I think that the idea is that you are celebrating the freedom that these people provided.
Well, that's 4th of July, that's Veterans Day. They have days for that, too. And all these soldiers on my news feed are like, yeah, stop it.
I hear you. I'm not attempting to defend it, but, that's what it is. The day is to memorialize. So it is not Veterans Day. This is not a celebration of people that served in the military. This is a day to remember the people that died in war.
Yeah, it would be like celebrating Pearl Harbor Day. Maybe if you're telling people Happy Memorial Day, which I've heard lots of statists do today, that would be a really obnoxious thing we would do if we were going to be obnoxious. It's like telling somebody Happy Pearl Harbor Day. If you're from Japan and you just want to be not nice, you would do that, but
I see what
you're saying. It's just weird.
But, okay, so, I don't go to these gatherings that people have on days like this. If people are getting together for a barbecue on today, because that's a thing, right? People get together for barbecues.
I did.
Is that right? So if people are getting together for a barbecue on Memorial Day as compared to Veterans Day, which, of course, the veterans are still alive, is it more of a somber occasion today, or is it about the same? As far as how people are,
I don't go to them, but I think I would imagine they're about the same.
Well, no, I'm asking for people who do go to them. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't go to these, so I don't know what it's like.
I couldn't tell you. I went to a Memorial Day. I went to a barbecue today. Mm-hmm. Today is Memorial Day.
Was there a prayer?
No.
Moment of silence?
No. Well, this wouldn't be that kind of event.
A toast.
This was, hey, I'm not working. You're not working. Let's get the kids together.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of
Well,
event.
that sounds like maybe it's not a celebration, but some people would call that a party, right? Like, I mean, these terms are somewhat loosely defined as far as what makes a party. Is it, over 10 people? Is it a certain amount, certain number? Does it have to have alcohol?
A Memorial Day party. So if, like, your birthday so happens to fall today, you're still allowed to have a birthday. I mean, you're allowed to do anything, but it's still not messed up to have a birthday party, especially if you're an anarchist. But to celebrate specifically Memorial Day just seems really Westboro to me.
And Westboro, you mean
Baptist church?
Somebody who's
insensitive.
Insensitive and
protesting
nasty.
Funeral church.
Yeah.
But okay, but I guess what I want to know is from somebody who does go to a Memorial Day party is not the right word, right? These are supposed to be somber.
Is it when you buy furniture? Because there's a lot of furniture sales on Memorial Day, right? I mean, it's
remember your fallen soldiers by buying a new couch.
Car.
Well, even the commercials are like, "Hey, come celebrate by buying a car," and it's like, if I did that, if I said that, I would be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from on this. If you want to weigh in, let me know. Is a party that happens or gathering, and maybe gathering's more the right word, that happens with people and barbecue a somber occasion on Memorial Day versus Veterans Day when it's just an all-out bash and rollicking party or something?
I don't
like
imagine
that?
It is.
I just don't. It would seem to me that's just people getting together for barbecue and
You can get
whatever.
everybody to stop for a moment and say, and let's remember the fallen warriors that made this party possible, and you can get them to pause for a moment.
Yeah, and then glasses will be clinking right after that.
Right. I mean, that would be it.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, and that's kind of how human beings are. I don't think there's anything. I think it's just how humans are, and
humans are really morbid. Yes.
So anyway, I've got this article here from the Freeman's Perspective. This is written by Paul Rosenberg.
Look, if you want to weigh in, you're welcome to join us here at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733, or you can Skype into the show at Skype username LRN.FM. All right, so Paul Rosenberg from where?
The Freeman's Perspective.
Freeman's Perspective.
The Freeman'sPerspective.com. Excuse me, Freeman'sPerspective.com. I've met Paul on multiple occasions.
Sounds like a good blog.
Really nice guy.
Okay, cool.
People often say that war is pointless, and it must be admitted that their argument is a good one. What was gained in Iraq and Afghanistan? Things there are just as bad today as when the Western armies rolled in, and the threat to the West seems to be no less. To what end were all those people killed, mutilated, and terrorized? What was the point of all the kingdom versus kingdom wars? Borders shifted left, borders shifted right, but the daily lives of the farmers, bakers, traders, they mostly went back to normal after all the death, and so on. Even in the case of World War II, our best the wild man must be stopped scenario, the facts don't actually bear out the effectiveness of the war. Yes, I'm very glad that Hitler was stopped, and had I been there, I might have undertaken to kill him myself. But in full honesty, we must also admit that while the war stopped Hitler, it also made the world safe for Stalin, who went on to kill more people than Hitler ever did. Let's not forget Mao. The United States intervention in China set the grounds going for the People's Revolution too. So
for another murderer.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you intervene, then it becomes your responsibility. You touched it last, kind of thing.
Which the United States wasn't supposed to be an interventionist nation. That went awry in the 20th century.
Yeah, they wanted to. I mean, basically the leaders were very clear. They wanted to be an empire like, all the French and the English and the, Spanish and the Portuguese and all that. They had their empires. How come the United States didn't have theirs? We should have all.
You do now.
Yeah, we should have all of North and South America, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Philippines. All that stuff is empire building, really. So anyway. Without Stalin and a strong USSR, would Pol Pot have been able to kill a fourth of the population of Cambodia? Would Mao have been able to rack up the greatest death toll in human history, as much as Stalin and Hitler combined?
Wow.
So even in
I didn't know that.
Yeah, even on our very best, I don't think he's right that it's the largest in history, because I think that Genghis Khan would be able to claim that title. But so even
the largest in the 20th century, then. How about that?
Certainly. So even in our very best scenario, a good argument can be made for the war's pointlessness. But alas, I'm drifting from my title subject, where I maintain that war is not pointless. One of the more instructive quotes on war comes from Hermann Göring, a member of
Isn't that a Nazi?
Hitler's inner circle.
Yeah.
Notice the distinction he makes between the people and the leaders. Why, of course, the people don't want war. Sorry, all the Germans out there. Why would some poor slob on a farm want to risk his life in a war where the best he can get out of it is to come back to his farm in one piece? Naturally, the common people don't want war, neither in Russia nor in England, nor for that matter in Germany.
That's a good effort.
Thank you.
Good effort.
Thank you.
Danke.
That's understood. But after all, it is the leaders of the country who determine the policy, and it is always a simple matter to drag the people along. Whether it's democracy or a fascist dictatorship or parliament or a communist dictatorship. Voice or no voice, the people can always be brought to the bidding of the leaders. That is easy. All you have to do is tell them that they're being attacked and denounce the peacemakers for their lack of patriotism and exposing the country to danger.
This
it works
is the playbook.
same way in every country.
Yeah, this is definitely the playbook, and I think it's going to be worth sharing that again when we come back, maybe without the accent. More coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live. If you want to join us, 855-450 free, like freedom. More coming up.
Last week at Consensus 2017, a cryptocurrency conference in New York City, an agreement was made between 56 companies representing 83% of the hashing power for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an international internet currency that has, of late, taken the tech world by storm. In the agreement, they pledged to implement segregated witness, a long-needed patch for the Bitcoin software, at 80% acceptance instead of 95%, and increase the Bitcoin block size, relieving pressure on the network and lowering prices for transactions. This compromise is supported by the former head developer of Bitcoin, Gavin Andreessen, and Bitcoin.com's Roger Ver, along with 83% of the Bitcoin miners. Some of the core developers and the influential organization Blockstream do not support it, however. Although the finish line is not yet crossed, it may be in sight, and we here at Free Talk Live, along with most of you, breathe a sigh of relief, hoping that this opens the door to the continuation of the most important piece of software since the internet. Find out more at Bitcoin.com.
Are you drowning in debt? Are you struggling to make minimum payments? Did you know that on average a household with at least one credit card struggles with over $10,000 in credit card debt? If this sounds like you, know that it's not your fault. Credit card debt happens to good people. Credit card companies lure you in with low introductory rates and low minimum payments. Before you know it, you're in over your head. We've helped thousands of good people just like you become debt-free with our Debt Reset program that will dramatically reduce your debt down to a fraction of what you owe. Our Debt Reset program is customized to get you debt-free in as little as 24 to 48 months with one low monthly payment. If you owe over $10,000 in credit card debt or even personal loans, call 800-912-6177. There are no upfront fees or out-of-pocket expenses. You don't pay a dime until we succeed. Call now to see how the Debt Reset program can work for you. 800-912-6177. That's 800-912-6177. Again, 800-912-6177.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever's on your mind. Just dial on in toll-free here at 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733, and we've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, it's me, Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
Also, do want to let you know about Dash. If you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, you can join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, private, and easy. Fees are low and transactions are fast and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. Join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. You can find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to Dash.org and find out why. As we continue here, Mark, with the story from a gentleman who says there is a point to war.
Yeah, he's so did you want to hear that Hermann Goring quote again?
Yeah, let's hear that quote one more time for those just tuning in.
Do you want the really bad sort of Colonel Klink
No, just
accent?
do normal.
No? Okay.
It was a little distracting.
I thought it was
entertaining, but distracting.
It was bad. So he says here in modern English, why, of course, the people don't want war. Why would some poor slob on a farm want to risk his life in a war when the best he can hope to come of it is to come back to his farm in one piece? Naturally, the common people don't want war, neither in Russia nor in England, nor, for that matter, in Germany. That is understood. But, after all, it is the leaders of the country who determine the policy, and it is always a simple matter to drag the people along, whether it's a democracy or a fascist dictatorship or a parliament or a communist dictatorship. Voice or no voice, the people can always be brought to the bidding of the leaders, and that's easy. Here it is. Here it is, folks. This is it. According to Hermann Goring, this is how you bring the people on board for a war that they don't want, that they don't need, that isn't going to benefit them. This is valuable information for the voting public to know, right? Like somebody who's taken the time to, years and years ago, sit down and see how it is that you can get the common person to go out and fight and die for a crappy cause. And I think we can all agree the Nazis were a crappy cause, right? But lots and lots and lots of Germans died for it. So one would presume all those Germans weren't bad people, but that they were brought along by some kind of social movement, a zeitgeist, if you will. Probably not the best time to use that terminology. But
it's a great term. Spirit of the time.
It's also German when talking about the Nazis. So anyway, I think that it's something that we probably have something to learn from Mr. Goring right here. He says, all you have to do is to tell them they're being attacked and to denounce the peacemakers for a lack of patriotism. There you go. That's it. You denounce the peacemakers for exposing the country to danger because of their lack of patriotism. It works the same way in any country, he says.
Yeah.
So
and you can see it happening to this day.
Has the United States ever been in a situation in the last 10 or 20 years where, I don't know, we would claim to have been attacked and those sorts of things? And
9/11.
then anytime, the peacemakers pop up, are they called, unpatriotic?
Of course.
I've been called on this show a coward.
Yep.
By somebody on the other end of a phone line that didn't have the ability to say it to my face. Okay, that's a funny thing, right? To call a man a coward that you don't know, who's at the other end of a phone, who can't put their hands on you. But it's been done. Not to say I would have put my hands on him. I'm just saying that, that's a odd thing to do. So, I kind of feel like this is what's done all the time. Now, the United States most assuredly was attacked on 9/11, right? Like, a small handful of criminals came and swiped some airplanes. They hijacked them with box cutters. I don't think you could pull that trick off any longer. But it was certainly done on 9/11. But a lot of Americans kind of seem like they don't understand that foreign policy didn't start on September the 11th, 2001. They really don't understand that there were at least 6 decades, call it 5 decades worth of, Western and U.S. meddling in the Middle East up to that. And it's, just all news to them, it seems. Anyway, going on. Paul,
or it's that it doesn't matter. Like, even if it's not news to them, it's like, well, we can do that. The U.S. can do that because we're the world's police. So it's totally fine.
What they're trying to say there is that that we, the rulers of the world, are better than the rest of those people. All right? So we Americans know that if there was a foreign power that was, putting all kinds of strength into our politics, forcing us to act in a certain way because of how they wanted to see the world, that we would rise up with weapons in hand and wipe them from the face of the earth. Like, that's what America would do. But the idea that the United States should somehow be attacked for doing the same thing is absolutely ludicrous. And you know why you think that? Because you think that those towel-headed camel jockeys are somehow less than you and your family, that they aren't as good as you. And that's what it ultimately comes down to. If you think that you should rule over them by dint of your birth, that is ethnocentrism.
It's sick. And it's wrong. And it's obviously false.
I'm not saying they're going to run a better country. I wouldn't know. Neither would they. They've never had a chance. The United States has propped up their dictators, their sheiks, their mullahs, whoever it is that they find to be worthy of propping up. And if they're not worthy of propping up, they'll install a shah, whatever they need to do. If you don't know what a shah is, maybe you shouldn't have an opinion on war. Maybe, just maybe, you're too ignorant of Middle East policy to have any kind of, opinion as to what the United States should be fighting in. Paul Rosenberg.
Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733.
I get very excited about this because I want to support the troops by not making more dead ones, okay? This is important to me and has been for many years. I don't hate you for having been in the military. It's something I would have done. I attempted to do in my past. It didn't work out, but I attempted to sign up for the military. I put my name on a piece of paper to do so. And
did prison get in the way?
It was,
you went to prison for 9 years.
It was basically the fact that I had an arrest record sort of prevented that from happening. But I tried on multiple occasions.
So you were already rejected before the whole prison situation came up?
Going into prison, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
This explains why, I'm going on with Paul Rosenberg here, this explains why we are so often see war as pointless. We're looking at it from the vantage point of the poor slob and not from the vantage point of the ruler. So the truth is that war is not pointless. It's only pointless from the standpoint of the poor slob who has to suffer and die in it.
Which means it's pointless to 99.9% of everyone.
Yes.
The toll-free number here, we'll get to more of this gentleman, 855, Mr. Rosenberg, 855-450-3733, and his opinion here on Memorial Day. It's a live edition of Free Talk Live. We are here. We will take your calls, and you can call in about anything you want to share with us. Maybe you're former military or current, or you just want to share your thoughts. You can join us here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends radio show. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgoristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agorist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any tomfoolery. So go with AgoristHosting.com. And if you want to get your foot in the door with decentralized marketplaces, Agorist Hosting is now offering Open Bazaar hosting. Go to agoristhosting.com, click on the button that says Get Hosted. Agorist Hosting, that's AGORIST hosting.com.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced Wave Moisture Control Units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. Wave units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. Wave units are still running effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You may join us right here. Our toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And with you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian here.
Melanie.
And Mark.
Also, it is Memorial Day, and we're actually here doing a live show. So, of course, you're welcome to join us. Mark, you're sharing with us a story that we're going to get back into here in a moment about, let's see, Paul Rosenberg writing about how war does have a point, just for the rulers, not for the ruled. You don't need money to do business on Simbi.com. It's a slick and easy-to-use marketplace where you can trade your talents for other people's services and abilities. You can forget the old economy. This is your economy. It's Simbi.com, S-I-M-B-I, Simbi.com. You won't believe the diversity of the services available on Simbi.com. Hundreds of thousands of people are acting within the symbiotic economy. You can get your account right now over at Simbi.com and take a look around and then post your services. Simbi.com. As we go to Johnny on the line in Beaver, Utah, listening to KYAH. Hey, Johnny. Hello, Johnny. Johnny going once. Johnny in Utah going twice.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, we've got you now. Go ahead, Johnny.
Well, I was wondering how your 9 years in prison informed your time and thoughts about war.
How 9 years in prison informed my thoughts about war?
Thoughts on war. Has that changed your opinions in any way?
Yeah, I guess, you know, I don't know that I thought about it very much. I think I walked out of prison being pretty much of the opinion that, you know, the government does what the government does, and it's just sort of our job to deal with the ramifications. I read a lot of Tom Clancy in there. I really like that author, and I think he's a great writer. He's you know, he tends to glorify war a little bit for my taste, but I have picked up his books since then. I think the real change for me was the Iraq War. I pretty much supported going in when I felt like, you know, Glenn Beck told us that the Iraq government had these fuselages of 747s that they were training, you know, terrorists how to storm them and do whatever it was that they were doing. And don't forget Kufi and Nunu's rape rooms and these sorts of things. So I thought, you know, I was probably like a lot of the American public at that point. I'd invaded Canada if I thought that they had something to do with 9/11. I was ready to go. But it didn't take too long when you're realizing that what happened was the West got involved in a conflict between the Sunnis and the Shias, and most people in the West couldn't define the difference between those two particular religious sects.
I can't tell you.
I can't either, and don't care. So, you know, that's basically, once I realized that, oh, wow, we've taken the side of the Shiites here, and, you know, the Sunnis don't like it very much, and it doesn't really surprise me.
Johnny?
Yeah. So I actually had one more question, which is a little bit off topic.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering what your opinion is on Jack in the Box.
On what?
Jack in the Box, the chain.
The restaurant chain.
Famous for their tacos and burgers.
I have never had the opportunity to go to a Jack in the Box.
Because I had to go to one today. It was pretty rough.
Well, now, do they have them in Utah, I take it?
Yeah, no, well, we were not in Utah, so, I mean, I don't know.
It's pretty much a Western burger chain, right?
Yeah, it is a Western burger chain. But I don't know. They have them in Texas.
Yeah, that's pretty much west compared to we are. I mean, we're over here in New England. Mark, have you ever, Melanie, have you ever been to the Jack in the Box?
When I go and travel out west, it isn't to go to
a burger chain.
Burger chains. So no.
Johnny, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. What about you, Melanie? Did they have that?
They had one in Baton Rouge.
Did they really?
It was a place I would go to if everything else was closed.
Because in Baton Rouge or in the South, you're more looking at you know, White Castle, right? There's a lot more of those.
No.
No?
Not where I was.
Okay. What's the one that's?
They have one they have one of those in New Orleans.
What's the burger place where they get Crystal Burger? No? Because I remember going to Crystal Burger when I was in New Orleans, and that's where they got those little burgers. Like you get this, like the 16
okay, yeah,
little...
that's the one they have in New Orleans. Okay, yeah,
Crystal Burger.
Yeah.
Is there, I mean, does it exist now that there's regional chains that people really identify with as far as burgers go? I mean...
Don't you think?
No, I think whenever people talk about the best burger in town, they're talking about a mom and pop place that usually isn't repeated.
I would say so. That's usually where you're going to get the best burger.
We'll get the title of best burger in town. I do think it's a pretty good burger.
Well, and they have real food as far as that goes. They have fresh meat and actual potatoes.
You can see the bags of potatoes sitting right there, right?
Well, isn't it true that Wendy's has fresh meat as well? Don't they use refrigerated meat, not frozen?
That doesn't necessarily mean it's fresh. They did when I was there, but they were talking about going away from it right after they ran a bunch of commercials saying they used fresh meat. So, yeah.
Well, the last I heard they did. I don't know if they've changed their policy. But that's what I've heard.
As far as I know, they have refrigerated meat. That doesn't mean it's fresh.
Well, I mean, it's not fresh as in they just slaughtered it.
Frozen,
They didn't just slaughter the cow and put it right on the truck and ship it to the store. It probably, had been refrigerated for a while, but I guess the claim
is... It also doesn't mean it's never been frozen, really.
Well, the freshness of beef isn't really that important. I mean, they age beef for a reason, so, I mean, I don't know that's... I mean, you don't want it left out on the counter for a long time, but...
Yeah, but I guess the idea is you would prefer to have a non-frozen patty is the idea. I don't know if you could tell the difference. I don't know if given one next to the other that a blind taste test could really discern the
Being
difference.
in the meat business, to some extent, we do raise some pigs at my house. Obviously, I don't do it for a living.
It's more like a meat hobby for you.
It's a meat hobby, right? Yeah. But I've certainly heard of a bunch of people's preferences and these sorts of things. Apparently, there is a percentage of the population that can tell the difference between boar meat and, neutered male meat and female pig meat.
What percentage is that, like 0.01?
No, I think it's relatively, they would be relatively large percentage that would claim to be able to tell the difference of like a boar that's tainted, especially if they've were in rut or something. They say they claim.
You think a large percentage of the population could tell the difference between a boar and what else?
And the rest of it, so barrows and gilts and sows and these sorts of things. But there are also people, and a much smaller percent of the population, which is almost exclusively female, which claims to be able to tell the difference between barrow meat, which is a neutered male, and probably that male was neutered at 2 weeks old. Or something very, very young. Those testicles weren't working, but that they can tell the difference between male pig meat and female pig meat, and will only buy slaughtered gilts. And
what's that?
A gilt is a pig version of a heifer, a never bred female.
Okay.
So, if the ones that don't look like they're going to be good breeders,
people can tell the difference between a male and a female.
Oh, I don't believe so. No. But they claim to be able to tell.
I was going to say, I don't believe
it. People can tell the difference between a male and a female because you do have different chemicals in the meats at that point. But I really don't believe they can tell the difference between a never bred and no. That
I don't believe any of it.
Any sense.
I mean, you were telling me that, Mark, and I would like to see. So you weren't saying that because there's any kind of study that shows this. You're just saying there are people who claim those things to be able to discern those things.
I can tell you they'll pay extra. I know that much.
Sure.
Well, people will pay extra for organic food, even though all food is organic, and if it's not, you shouldn't be eating it.
Well, I just liked it. The whole discussion evokes in my mind this. Was it Hungary or something like that? Maybe Austria. Anyway, there was some foreign language I couldn't understand, Dutch, whatever it was. They went to some sort of foodie convention, basically, where all these elite foodie types were. And they brought McDonald's, but they put it in nice presentation. So they had chicken McNuggets, but they'd cut the McNugget and put it on a nice plate or something like that. And then they'd go around and ask people if they would do a taste test on this and what they thought about it. This organic blah blah blah. They just made up some crap that made it sound like it was really fancy. And it was just McDonald's, and people were raving, "Oh my God, this is so delicious! Oh, is this grass-fed?"
I think you have other issues going on in that particular study.
855-450 free, like freedom. 855-450-3733.
Warning: if you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to cover your ears. Because there's an alternative to bankruptcy, and it could be better than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to cover your ears now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt too. You could resolve your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now, 1-800-660-1581. That's 1-800-660-1581. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Jack Daniels announced today its plan to start marketing directly to children, adding, quote, "Why not?" Executives for the whiskey company told reporters that they've already slated dozens of television spots showing 10-year-old children drinking tumblers of Jack and Coke in playgrounds, and that the company was planning on, quote, "just seeing how it all played out."
Every year, Jack Daniels sells millions of dollars of great American whiskey to men and women all over the world. So, for our next ad campaign, we basically just thought, hey, why not just start marketing this stuff straight to 10-year-olds? I mean, if they catch us, they catch us, but we'll see how far it goes, and hopefully we can sell some alcohol along the way. Sure, some parents groups could get upset, especially if we go with our idea of moms serving their kids cranberry jack at snack time. But
in other news, a doomed rabbit will teach an 8-year-old a lesson about responsibility, and a torrent of soap issues from a wildly unexpected part of the dispenser. Well, that was it. It's all downhill from here, bud. For more, visit theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, you dial toll free, you bring up what you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you here in the studio, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
Also, I do want to let you know about the Free Talk Live AMP program. You can go and support Free Talk Live directly for $5 a month. And help us get on new radio stations, help us bring new internet listeners on board. We just recently broke away the LRN.FM satellite channels into their own separate fundraiser from the AMP program. And so that frees up a few $100 a month that we can start spending on other things. And so there's a discussion going on right now in the AMP-only Facebook group about, well, exactly what should we be doing with that extra money? Should we throw some more money back at Google? Because once upon a time we did Google ads. Should we throw some money back at Facebook? I really don't want to do that, but some people might say it's a good idea. Should we buy advertising on existing libertarian websites? Should we hire Callan Diggs to write about us? There's several different things that we could do, but what should we be doing? I honestly don't know.
We should flesh out that Callan Diggs proposal if we're going to make it. I mean, one mention on the air isn't going to do it,
Yeah, no, I'm just throwing out some ideas of what could be possible, and that discussion's happening on our Facebook group right now, which is only for amplifiers. And if you want to get into that and kind of help us figure out the direction to go with the Free Talk Live AMP program,
the really great thing about the AMP program is you become sort of like a
consultant.
A consultant, a member of the board. A board.
Now,
of directors.
boards have votes. You don't get to vote.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily go the way that you would want, but we do take the advice strongly.
We take advice more strongly from an amplifier than we do from a general member of the public.
Somebody who's taken the time to become part of our club is important to us.
Yeah, so if you want to join the AMP program, get perks like access to that Facebook group, to the AMP-only email list, to the AMP-only phone lines, and a podcast that is only for amplifiers, you can go and sign up for $5 a month with any major credit card. You can use Visa, MasterCard, American Express. You can also use PayPal and Bitcoin, and you get a bunch of cool perks, and you help Free Talk Live get the ideas of liberty, freedom, peace as far and as wide out there as possible. Just go to amp.freetalklive.com, amp.freetalklive.com, as we go to your phone calls and thoughts. More about war coming up here in moments. But first, Tom is in Hudson, New Hampshire, listening online at freetalklive.com. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, it's about what happened a few days ago. I was noticing the problem with my eye, so I went to an eye doctor who examined. They can look right through the pupil, and he said there's something very bad in there, and what you got to do is rush to a specialist in Peabody, Massachusetts. Okay, this was an eye doctor in Hudson, New Hampshire. I said, well, why that one? Why not a specialist in New Hampshire? And they said, oh, no, there isn't a specialist available in New Hampshire who can do this. And so I jumped into a taxi and went on down to Peabody, Massachusetts. But it started making me think, what about, New Hampshire? I'm sick and tired of reading about people being rushed to a New Hampshire hospital and then being airlifted to a Massachusetts hospital instead of the other way around, And, of course, if somebody is the qualified specialist who can do this stuff, then you can't exactly say, hey, you have to move to New Hampshire, okay? That would certainly defeat the whole idea of the Free State Project, even if we could do that. But anyway, afterwards, I did a little research and find out that way up in Lebanon, New Hampshire, there's apparently doctors. I don't know if they were on duty that day, but nobody should ever have to choose between losing the sight in one eye or leaving the Shire. Especially what's going to happen? What's going to happen when all these Syrian refugees move to the Republic of New Hampshire, and then Donald Trump won't let them into Massachusetts? They're going to get turned away at the port of entry on the Massachusetts side of the border. And
you're talking about some sort of future where New Hampshire has seceded from the United States and there are people migrating here. Like, what would happen then?
Yeah, because...
Well, it would seem to me that if New Hampshire was actually a free place where it had seceded from the United States and was its own country, if you want to call it that, and that people were more allowed to come here than in other places if the immigration policy was relatively loose, then it would seem to me that if a lot of people were coming here, then the doctors would want to be here because, there's business to be had.
What I did.
Well, and there's no incentive for people with very low job skills to immigrate to a free society because they're not really going to have a great time. So it's kind of less of a problem.
The specialist that can do this, is apparently very much in demand. And then I did a little research and found out that sometimes he practices in Derry, New Hampshire. So I wrote to that eye doctor company in that office in Derry, New Hampshire, and told them that I invite him to move to New Hampshire for all of the reasons that you'll find at freestateproject.org/101 reasons to move to New Hampshire. But the next step has got to be making sure that if they have these certificate of public needs nonsense here in New Hampshire, it's bad. First of all, it should be eliminated altogether.
I don't know what that is. A certificate of public
That's
needs?
what you won't be allowed to open a hospital unless, because let's say somebody wants to open up another hospital in Nashua, New Hampshire, then the state says, oh, no, there's already 2 perfectly good hospitals there. You don't need another hospital there. We're not going to let you open a hospital. But are they taking into account what's going to have to happen if they're doing that, which I don't know if they're doing that here in New Hampshire. But if they are, we definitely cannot allow them to say, oh, no, we don't need a first-class trauma unit in that particular town because there's one just across the border in the other state, and therefore we don't need one. They definitely have got to stop doing that stuff because going into the other state involves leaving the Shire. You know, and some people might feel that it's better to die in New Hampshire than to survive in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I don't blame anybody who doesn't want to go to Massachusetts. Thanks for the call, Tom. The toll-free number here, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. He's looking pretty far ahead into the future as far as
with only one eye.
As far as what could happen into the future. And it would be nice to see New Hampshire secede from the United States, but it would raise some important questions about, how are people going to get along? I mean, how will there be border checkpoints put up between Maine and Massachusetts and New Hampshire and Vermont? And
you better believe it.
Well, and that could complicate matters a little bit for folks.
Well, I mean, but we would let in the highly qualified specialist surgeons.
Oh, you're not talking about New Hampshire. The problem isn't, the border into New Hampshire. The problem is the border going out. The United States makes it pretty darn difficult to move between countries that border it, and they're not going to make it any easier on New Hampshire, especially if New Hampshire decides it doesn't want to be in the little United States club. As a matter, I would go so far as to guess that they're going to make it harder on Granite Staters to be able to head on into the United States.
Then we should just have a cruise that pretends to come out of the States and I don't know. Never mind.
Wait, what?
Cruises
that was half an idea that didn't really go anywhere. Never mind.
Cruise ships can't originate and both inside the United States, as I understand it. So maybe that's what the reference was.
Huh.
There's some kind of regulation that's out there. I did have a problem in one eye and had to go to an eye doctor that was a specialist down in Mass, and they did a fine job. So very happy that I had that option.
Did you pay cash for that?
I'm sure we did.
Okay.
They stuck a needle in my eye. It was really weird.
Because you don't get the Romney care. Right?
Why would I?
No. Right.
I don't live in Massachusetts.
Well, I'm glad that you don't have to have it in order to go down there, and you can still pay cash. The toll-free number here tonight.
Cash still buys doctor services.
Good to know. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Let's go to Dave. He's calling from Michigan. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live, listening online.
Good evening, fellows and lady.
Yes.
How you doing?
Fantastic. Go ahead, sir.
Good. Happy Memorial Day. Anyway. I never really realized, I don't think anybody ever really said, what it actually meant when I was a kid.
Really?
But it just meant to me as a kid, it was the beginning of summer, and Labor Day was the end of summer, right?
That's it.
That's good enough.
So,
good enough reason to party.
barbecues and 4th of July, or barbecues and fireworks and fairs and all that stuff. But the reason I'm calling Bitcoin, have you guys heard of Gladiacoin?
No. Is this another competitor to Bitcoin? One of the myriad of... No?
No, actually it's not.
All right, I want you to tell me about it here in a moment. Stand by, Dave. We're going to bring you back in hour number 2. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. And coming up, maybe the latest on Venezuela here in moments. I've been teasing that one for a while. We just haven't had a chance to talk about it. Maybe we will tonight, but you can also call in about anything you want. Do you need a website for your blog or new business? It can be pretty intimidating on your own, and that's why Free Talk Live has partnered with HostGator, one of the top hosting companies. HostGator offers a simple, one-click, easy installation for WordPress, 24/7 over the phone or live chat tech support, and a very intuitive, user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation back into your hands. Go to HostGator.com/FTL and you'll get 50% off of their regular hosting prices. 50% off. HostGator.com/FTL. You've said it yourself. We need a healthcare system that focuses on health, not sickness. Health insurance pays for treating sickness but gives you nothing for being healthy. There's a free market healthcare company that gives you freedom from health insurance. They give you a proactive health assessment daily, no charge 24-hour access to doctors. Check them out right now at healthexcellenceselect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and price. healthexcellenceselect.com. healthexcellenceselect.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, May 29th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.37 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,267 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1 cent, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,262. Antiwar.com reports the U.S.-led coalition has attacked a convoy full of civilians fleeing Raqqa, the capital of the Islamic State, hitting them near the towns of Ratla and Qasra and killing at least 20 people, according to reports from the Syrian state media. This is the latest in a flurry of attacks by U.S. forces against targets in the eastern half of Syria, centered roughly around Raqqa and other territory held by the Islamic State, with well over 100 civilians killed in previous strikes, most of them family members of fighters for the Islamic State. While the exact identity of these civilians were not known in the latest strikes, they probably were not family members of the Islamic State fighters because they weren't fleeing territory held by the Islamic State. This makes the incident particularly problematic from the U.S. perspective, even if officially they have yet to address it, and Defense Secretary James Mattis is downplaying concerns about killing civilians in general. U.S. designs on eventually having their allies in the Kurdish YPG invade Raqqa are going to depend heavily on their ability to get at least some of the civilians out of the city to keep civilian casualties limited. Those evacuations will be hard to push if the U.S. is attacking those fleeing. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports BMW is recalling 45,484 older Model 7 Series cars in the United States because the doors could open unexpectedly while being driven, according to the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. The German company's recall covers cars from 2005 to 2008 with a door latching system equipped with comfort access and soft door close options, according to the NHTSA. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said in these vehicles the doors can appear to be closed, although it has stopped in a position where the main latching mechanism is not fully engaged. Thus, an external influence, such as an irregular road surface or an inadvertent interior contact by a vehicle occupant with the door, could result in an unexpected opening of the door while being driven. On March 8th, NHTSA contacted BMW after receiving complaints from customers. The complaints involve two issues: where the door cannot close before driving off, and another where the door could become unexpectedly open while driving. After a review, the BMW problem solution team came to the conclusion that it could be possible for a door to unexpectedly open while driving in the case where one of the hardware components of the latch or door handle could fail. The documents did not say if the problem had caused any crashes or injuries. BMW says they are currently determining a remedy. The company also noted to the NHTSA that the issue is related to the 2012 recall of 7,485 model years 2005 to 2007 7 Series vehicles. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Reuters reports the United States government might ban laptops from aircraft cabins on all flights into and out of the country as part of a ramped-up effort to protect against potential security threats, according to the Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly. In an interview on Fox News Sunday, Kelly said the United States planned to raise the bar on airline security, including tightening screenings of carry-on items. Kelly said that's the thing that they are obsessed with, the terrorists, the idea of knocking down an airplane in flight, particularly if it's a U.S. carrier, particularly if it's full of U.S. people. In March, the government imposed restrictions on large electronic devices in aircraft cabins on flights from 10 airports, including the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Turkey. Kelly said the move would be part of a broader airline security effort to combat what he calls a real sophisticated threat. He said no decision has been made as to the timing of any ban. Airlines are concerned that a broad ban on laptops might erode customer demand. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A report released Tuesday by physicists at Stanford University revealed that the entire known universe, from the whole of human civilization to the totality of matter and energy, is actually the fictional setting of a cop show called Hard Case. According to authors of the report, existence as we know it was created solely to provide the framework for the primetime drama that airs weekly in a parallel universe, and that every historical event prior to the show's September 2008 pilot, including the Renaissance, World War II, evolution, the September 11th attacks, and the presidential administrations of Washington through Clinton, never actually happened and are merely part of the elaborate backstory crafted by Hard Case creator and showrunner Dominic Egan.
We used to believe that our universe operated under immutable laws of thermodynamics and gravitational relativity, but now we know everything just comes from the minds of Hard Case's 12 staff writers. Overall, it seems like a very well-written show.
Physicists have theorized that the universe as we know it will cease to exist whenever Hard Case airs its final episode.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us right here, toll free. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The live Memorial Day edition of the program. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
Coming up, the latest from the streets of Venezuela and the socialist country that is currently in a free fall into complete poverty. It's absolutely horrifying. We'll get into that here when we get the chance. But back to your phone calls and thoughts. Dave is on the line in Michigan. Now, Dave, you'd called in to ask about some sort of Gladiacoin, which I had not heard of before. Maybe I had, but I'd promptly forgotten about it. But Mark, you pulled it up there during the news break, and this is a scam, as we understand it. Dave, what did you want to say about it?
Really? Okay, because I know some folks that are actually involved in that. And they're doubling their Bitcoin in 90 days.
Well, they are either being scammed, or they know it is a scam and they are trying to scam you
Wait
into
a second,
joining
Ian.
it.
Okay.
So
hold on. Let me tell you exactly what I know to be a fact. One of my friends got in with one Bitcoin when it was $1,000 a Bitcoin, and what it is, it's you're buying a service.
What's
There's
the service?
7 high-speed robo traders, and you can come in at a tenth of a Bitcoin or up to 4 Bitcoin per position. My friend took one position with 1 Bitcoin, and because there's a referral program where you refer people and they pay you a percentage of what they bring in, he was able to make his $1,000 back in Bitcoin in about 2.5 weeks. He cashed that in, and then when his contract doubled, passively it'll double in 90 days, but because he brought people in, it doubled faster. So when he made that extra Bitcoin, he put that back in the system, and in 12 weeks, he's made 66 Bitcoin from that program. He's actually got with 1 Bitcoin.
Okay. It's like
and
magic.
They pay you. They pay you back every day on your wallet. They transfer 2.5% of because they don't keep your whatever they make. They don't keep it. They give it back to you, and depending on your investment.
This sounds too good to be true.
You have just described to us a MLM Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, that's pretty much what that is.
It's not an MLM.
It is by definition an MLM. You just described it.
MLM stands for multi-level marketing.
Did you come in under your buddy, and that you coming in because of his referral, as you referred to it, is in some way benefits him? Is that correct?
Well, he gets a percentage. They pay him a percentage.
Yeah, that's multi-level marketing.
They pay him a referral of whatever my investment is.
Right.
For that contract.
Yeah,
and
that's the definition.
You can either get out at the end of when your contract doubles, it ends. And then you can either renew or you can cash out.
And who wouldn't want to renew if they're making a bunch of money, right?
Exactly.
Well, you know that Bernie Madoff kept a Ponzi scheme going for like 20 years, right? So, I mean, it doesn't have to collapse immediately, and somebody's going to make money on it. The people who get out before the collapse occurs is true. But I guess I would ask this question. So they've got these robo-traders, right?
That's what they claim.
How come the richest people, why are they turning this over to us, the little folks, when these rich people could get in and monopolize the robo-traders? Presumably the robo-traders would work on every platform, not just cryptocurrencies. So you could be robo-trading, and I mean, robo-trading's being done in the stock market. You don't see returns like, what was it, 66,000%, 6,600%, 60,000% returns.
They're saying you'll double your Bitcoin in 90 days.
Double your Bitcoin in 90 days.
But yes,
anybody who's being honest is not going to make guarantees like that.
You can't.
Right.
I mean, that's not how investing works.
That's not right. It's not how trading works. I mean, you don't know whether things are going to go up or down. And
yeah, I did some Bitcoin trade. I did some trading. Now I'm no robo trader, obviously. I'm a real live human. Yeah. But I didn't do so well doing the cryptocurrency trading.
Right.
Okay. So here's my advice to you: is look, understand that you're participating in what is very likely to be a Ponzi scheme. And that people do make money in Ponzi schemes. Absolutely.
And some go to prison for it.
And somebody will go to the prison if it's but like
if you could figure out who it was, but you don't know who's running this.
It's being done over international borders in all likelihood. This is being run by princes in Nambia.
Well,
or
according to BehindMLM.com, which is a great website for anybody that ever wants to research MLM. Look, multi-level marketing is not an illegitimate form of marketing. It just
comes close.
It's just that the companies, a lot of the companies that utilize it are very scammy, and in theory, if MLM or multi-level marketing is being used to promote a real product that is actually a good product, then in theory it is a legitimate way of marketing that product.
If it was a process that worked, then legitimate places would use it.
There are some legitimate places using it. Let's see. I remember my ex-girlfriend was with a body shop, which is actually they have
Avon.
They have legitimate stores, and then they also have an MLM arm of their company that, they throw parties in people's homes and do the whole MLM, business opportunity thing and all of that. There's some real, I think, legitimate critiques of the MLM industry, and we can get into that at another time. But whenever MLM's being used with no product whatsoever, just a money scheme like this, look out. I mean, generally you should be careful on an MLM in general and be, do your due diligence. But with this, you can just write this one off as a scam. They are trying to rip people off here, and your buddy got in early, so he's doing okay. Right, because the scam ain't done yet at this point. And so because he's doing all right, he's out there telling it from the rooftops, man. Oh, this is working great. Look at all this. He's telling the truth, presumably, right, that he really did get paid this Bitcoin. He can show it in his wallet. Look at all this money coming in. It's like, it's too good to be true. Well, it is too good to be true. As more and more people come in, eventually it's going to dry up how many people are willing to come in at these lower levels and pour more money into the scheme. And then once those people dry up, the returns all of a sudden start drying up too, and then it's over.
Well, and honestly, MLM is not something I would think that and maybe I'm missing something because I'm not sitting around thinking how to scam people all day, is not something I would think you would want to mix with a Ponzi scheme, because that discourages growth after a certain point. In a Ponzi scheme, you kind of want to keep up as long as possible.
Why not? MLM's a great way to...
It's a perfect combo to
Dave's calling in because he wants to reach more people.
Right, but it kind of has an expiration point. Once you get to the lower tiers...
That's how all Ponzi schemes die out.
At 1 Bitcoin ago here, they'll be able to buy themselves a South Pacific island here by the time it's time to shut the doors on this Ponzi scheme. They'll be just fine.
Yeah, the Ponzi...
they're saying that they're projecting Bitcoin to go to $40,000 this year.
Well, anybody can project anything they want about Bitcoin. I can project that it's going to go to $2. It probably won't,
right.
But it may not go to $40,000 either.
I've been listening to you guys because I did learn about Bitcoin from you, years ago. And when this popped up, I thought, geez, I wonder what these guys are saying about this.
Stay away.
Do you even know about it?
Stay away from this, man.
Yeah, I've already researched it previously. Another gentleman contacted me through the Free Talk Live's Facebook page, and
pitching this.
Yeah, the first thing I said to him is that this was, in all likelihood, basically a scam. It was,
Look,
I don't know. See, like Ian's going to come right out and say this is a scam. I don't know if it's a scam. This could be.
It takes 5 minutes to research this.
This could be the one.
Like that meme with the one kid sitting in South Africa with a pile of money, like that.
That one, yes.
The prince. The prince in South Africa.
Here's the
quote. They told me I was the sole heir.
Any venture that offers these kinds of returns is very likely to be a scam. This one looks like a Ponzi scheme with a multi-level marketing component. If I were you, I'd cash out now. Call myself lucky. Some people have to win in a Ponzi scheme, but the ones that lose are the ones that hang on to the end. So cash out now and enjoy your new wealth.
I appreciate it, guys.
Dave, we're going to talk more about it. Thanks for the call. I appreciate you bringing it to the table here. And also look out for OneCoin. That's another big scam that is out there, so beware of that one as well. Those are at least the two that we've heard of, and I'm sure there's dozens more. So again, always do your due diligence, and thanks for the call tonight. And I'll share some of the excerpts here from the BehindMLM.com about this particular scam group, because nobody really knows who's behind this group. There's no information on their website about it.
Have you ever thought you'd like to flip houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? Are you ready to be your own boss so you can start living the good life? Hi, I'm Preston Ely. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity turned off 9 times, but I figured out a way to quit my job and find financial freedom in real estate. For a limited time, I want to send you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It shows you how to copy exactly what I did so you can make money from the comfort of your own home without even doing any manual labor. I've already given away 5,000 books and they're going fast. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-958-9256. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. It's short, fun to read, easy to understand, and awesome. To find out how to get your free book while supplies last, call 1-800-958-9256. Call 1-800-958-9256. 1-800-958-9256.
Hi, John here again. After another month of being on several supplements from Synergistic Nutrition, including Synergy One, the Andreas Black Cumin Seed Oil, and other supplements, I've lost another 10 pounds for a total of 20 pounds. My belt size has been reduced by 1 3/4 inches. My knees don't ache as much anymore, and I'm walking my dogs twice as long as I did a month ago. I sleep very well and have a lot more energy. I noticed that when I cut myself accidentally, that I was bleeding much more profusely and that the blood was bright red. Previously, I didn't bleed much at all, and it was dark red in color. So I know this protocol is working to keep my blood healthy. Additionally, I now have the energy to do calisthenics several times a week, in addition to the extra walking. My hunger has been reduced a lot. I take 2 shakes a day, along with each meal.
Call Synergistic Nutrition at 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com. That's sacredseedoils.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Join us here. Our number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian here.
Melanie.
And Mark.
And we were talking about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Bitcoin.com, of course, great place to go. Whether you're brand new to Bitcoin or you're old school, you want to get the latest news, they got that. They've also got ways for you to buy Bitcoin. Maybe you need to learn about Bitcoin, get the basics. You can do that over at Bitcoin.com. You can even play games with your Bitcoin at games.bitcoin.com. You can go to the forum and chat with other Bitcoin users there at forum.bitcoin.com. It's always open and censorship-free. You can learn more at this great one-stop shop for everything you need to get into Bitcoin life. It's Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com. As we go back to this story, well, not story, but a piece from BehindMLM.com. Because we had a guy call in a moment ago, Dave, who was asking about this, what is to us a clear scam, this Gladiacoin site. And this is not its own separate cryptocurrency. This is just a website where they try to get you to send them Bitcoin, and then they promise to send you double that amount of Bitcoin in 90 days.
I mean, and you have to send them money first. This is like something from Craigslist. Like, this is clearly
Well, I mean, you have to send. Oftentimes, you have to send money to
in
get
a Ponzi
things.
scheme. Yeah.
Well, no, generally. I mean, if I go to Amazon and I want to buy something,
but I
I've got
know
to pay
who
for it.
Amazon is, and if they don't send me my stuff, I can find them. And
Yeah, that's true. You don't know who these people are. They don't say anywhere on their website.
That is really, really telling and really important, but the idea of paying ahead of time. Now, I do think that if they offer a margin trading account ahead of time, like just let me sign up with my Bitcoin as credit. You go ahead and trade my imaginary Bitcoin for more Bitcoins. You send them to me, and then I'll pay off my margin account as the days progress. Then what's the big deal there, right? Obviously, they wouldn't do that because this is it's a scam. Has every hallmark of a scam.
Let me tell you, BehindMLM.com is a great website that looks at every single MLM company. Multi-level marketing, by the way, is what that stands for. Every MLM company that you could possibly want to look into, they've done the research. They've looked at the opportunity. Because every MLM has the product and the opportunity, except for these, because this is a scam. So they have no product. They just have the opportunity, right? And in this case, as it points out here, the Gladiacoin website domain, gladiacoin.com, was privately registered on November 26, 2016. So
That's fresh.
You can't look on their site, and you can't look behind the scenes, because normally if you go to a Whois, you can search on a site and you can see who registered it, unless they make it private, and they did. Gladiacoin has no relatable products or services, with affiliates only able to market the Gladiacoin affiliate membership itself. That alone is, regardless of what the plan looks like, just the fact that
even if they're doing what they say they're doing, it's still a horrible thing.
But
we should be able to go to the offices in Singapore and see these traders trading, right?
But they can't do what they say that they're doing to get a 200% return on, any arbitrary investment.
Because if it was really just day trading, the plan wouldn't make sense. But okay, let's say it did somehow. You can't guarantee returns like that from day trading or from anything unless you're either lying or stupid.
So they have different levels of investment, and all of them except for the first level, they claim that they are going to give a 200% return on anywhere up to 4 Bitcoin. The residual commissions in Gladiacoin are paid out via a binary compensation structure. A binary compensation structure places an affiliate at the top of a binary team split into 2 sides, left and right.
Yes.
Meaning that you get to recruit 2 people. The first level of the binary team houses 2 positions. The second level is then generated by splitting those first 2 into another 2, so you get 4 there, and so on and so forth. Subsequent levels are generated as required, with each new level housing twice as many positions as the previous level. Positions in the binary team are filled via direct and indirect recruitment of affiliates. Note that there is no limit to how deep the binary team can grow. At the end of each day, Gladiacoin tallies up investment volume on both sides of the binary team. Affiliates are paid a percentage of matched investment volume, that being volume from the weaker binary side. It's getting a little bit too complicated for me to follow here, but ultimately, this is just a money restructuring, money investment payout.
It's multi-level because there's legs and levels to here. This is multi-level marketing, which is, it's sad that multi-level marketing has been reduced to being synonymous with a scam.
It's always been synonymous with scams. There have been companies using MLM for a long time. That's why it's you got to be really careful.
Right. I'm just saying that sometimes there are legit multi-level marketing businesses out there.
The ruse behind Gladiacoins, this is from the conclusion, the ruse behind Gladiacoin's 200% return on investment is Bitcoin trading operations. Gladiacoin claimed to purchase Bitcoin from one exchange and sell it on another. As is typical of cryptocurrency Ponzi schemes, no specific details are provided, and needless to say, Gladiacoin's ruse fails the Ponzi logic test on 2 fronts. The first is that Bitcoin exchanges aren't stupid. You're not buying on one exchange and selling on another to the tune of 200% every 90 days. Yet that's exactly what Gladiacoin claimed to be doing. In reality, they'd have to be generating over 200%, as binary commissions eat into the invested funds. Secondly, even if we assume a 200% 90-day return on investment is possible simply by playing Bitcoin exchanges against each other, if this was possible, why would Gladiacoin's anonymous owners be running an income opportunity? To take out a small loan, convert it into Bitcoin, and at 200% every 90 days, it wouldn't be long before you'd have a small fortune. The reality is that Gladiacoin are simply using newly invested funds to pay off existing investors, sans whatever it is that they pay out in their recruitment commissions. Alexa traffic estimates suggest Gladiacoin launched around mid-December. That places the initial investment return on investments due mid-March. Once initially invested funds are exhausted, it is unlikely that Gladiacoin will survive a second round of ROI payouts.
Yeah, most people, what they're doing here is they might be taking out the Bitcoin that they put in, but in all likelihood, they're continuing to invest the Bitcoin that they've been paid off because, it just sits in an account. And it's a number in an account. Now, Bitcoin is always a number on a screen because it's internet money, but so their mind's at ease that, hey, look, the numbers are here on the screen. But that doesn't mean that there's Bitcoin to back those numbers up.
Yeah, that's right.
If it's not in your wallet, you don't.
If you don't control it,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so, at some point or another, these people who are going to make some amount of money, they're going to say to themselves, "Hey, I don't feel like running this anymore, or we're running out of investors, or whatever. So we're just going to take everything that's in here, and we're going to book." And they're going to, in all likelihood, they're living in foreign countries where they can live like kings on meager amounts of money, and they're gonna make out, which is fine. They're making out and whatever, but it's not like the warnings aren't all over this website.
Well, there aren't warnings all over their website. They don't want to warn you. They want you to sign up.
Your Bitcoin in 90 days is a warning.
You should consider that a warning, but the gullible will consider that a wonderful opportunity.
Here it is, gullible. We came on national radio. We did our very best to tell you this is where Free Talk Live is where Bitcoin started. It was given credit by the head developer that we're the launching point. So here it is. We're launching Gladiacoin into the scamosphere.
With the exception of those who joined back in December, the very first group, the majority of Gladiacoin affiliates are otherwise destined to lose money. That's a prediction of BehindMLM.com, and they see this stuff all the time. It's Free Talk Live.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA-packed technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
The warning signs.
First, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me. About my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Tipping. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin tip returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card Bitcoin tip that's easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets and spending, and returns to the tipper if unused. Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here at 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username here is lrn.fm. With you in the studio here, you've got Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
We're talking about scams, specifically Ponzi schemes, which are back in a big way thanks to cryptocurrency. As you pointed out, Mark, because one of the benefits...
No, it's not thanks to cryptocurrency. That's not fair to
No, it is back in a big way because of cryptocurrency. Because, as you pointed out, Mark...
it's taken it to a new level. How's that for better terminology?
I'm not blaming crypto for this. Crypto did not beat your head until you thought this was a good idea.
I get what you're saying, but the Ponzi scheme people had very limited options as far as their schemes until now, because cryptocurrency opens up the board. It makes it so, Mark, as you pointed out, cryptocurrency can be transmitted anonymously and across borders, so therefore it's
you wouldn't
easy.
Even know if it did cross a border.
Right. It's super easy for a scam artist to get in and take advantage of unknowing, unwitting, unexperienced or inexperienced people. Now, that doesn't mean cryptocurrency is bad. It just means it's like cash for the internet, and cash can be used for scams too. But in this case, like with a bag of cash, you would have to leave it somewhere for someone to physically go and pick up, and you might be able to identify who that person was. On the internet with cryptocurrency, they can hide behind an anonymous cloak, and so you got to know, in an investment deal with promising returns, you'd need to know who you're dealing with. You need to have some kind of history and some sort of track record and some kind of, ability to pick this deal apart and learn about exactly what's going on. And if it does sound too good to be true, it probably is. And just looking at BehindMLM.com, we're going to go back to your phones here in a moment, but I was just sharing, somebody had called about this Gladiacoin, which is an obvious Ponzi scheme, and that's what BehindMLM is said here. Just looking at the front page of their website, there's headlines, all kinds of headlines about cryptocurrency scams. You get the OneCoin thing, which is one of the biggest scams to hit the crypto scene. There's crypto funds, which is going to purports to give you 5% on a daily basis on your investment. And again, they go through why this is a Ponzi scheme. Yeah. So I mean, there's no shortage of these things, because
just keeps on going.
Any scam artist with an internet connection and the ability to put a website together can cook one of these things up in a day.
The funny thing about this Gladiacoin is that not only can you go in and give them 4 bitcoins for the Spartacus 7 plan, right, that they've got here, but you can then become your own downline by continuing to put in your own legs and making commission on yourself. Right? So pretty soon, that way you can cut down the amount of time it takes to get your Bitcoin back.
So you could just get 2 more wallets and...
Yeah. Just keep on doing it, keep on doing it, keep on doing it. Yeah. Pretty soon, I'm the whole thing. I'm paying myself.
Sure, they'll still be there in 90 days.
Yeah.
Sure they will.
Well, I don't wouldn't propose to know how long that
Yeah,
this
it could
Ponzi
go.
scheme-
It could go for a few more cycles. They predicted that it'll be done after the second cycle.
Right. Bernie Madoff did a Ponzi scheme for 20 years. So, you know, I mean, who knows?
Let's go to Stefan. He's in Ohio on Skype. Go ahead, Stefan.
I'd like to discuss some of the things going on in Venezuela and
Sure.
how it's comparing. I've been talking to a lot of people about it because I like to use it as an example of how socialism inevitably falls. And almost every person I've ever spoken to has told me, well, why isn't this happening in Denmark or
Yes.
Bolivia
Sure.
or Finland? And they claim that those countries are a little better at managing things. What do you think of that?
Okay, I've got a response for it. And the first thing we need to understand is when you're talking about the state, an organization that is a top-down hierarchical form of government, basically the same for the last 9,000 years. We pick the leaders a little differently than we did before. Now it's not by birth, by dint of birth. Now it's the ability to lie the most amount of people most effectively for the longest period of time. So whatever the reason is that the state has existed for that period of time. And every form of the state is socialist. I don't care. Your most conservative, right-wing state out there is socialist. So, yes, the socialist government in Denmark does a better job than the socialist government in Venezuela, which did a better job, which probably does a better job than, I don't know, maybe North Korea. But the United States government is socialist too. It's just where on the socialist paradigm are we talking about?
And where the crackdown's coming in. I mean, we had heard this question had been brought up before, and I recall someone telling us, I forget who it was, but that Denmark has more of a free market kind of feel to it, meaning that you can have your own business there and you don't have to worry about the government coming in and nationalizing it. They don't have a government imposed exchange rate. So, for instance, that's one of the biggest problems in Venezuela is that they have a government-imposed exchange rate of 10 to 1, and meaning that 10 bolivar is what you get in return for $1 US dollar officially. But the reality is the $1 US is worth more like 4,000, and I haven't looked in the last couple of weeks on Dollar today, but there's a huge discrepancy between what the bolivar is actually worth in the marketplace and what the government is forcing it to trying to force it to be worth, and that just really screws things up. So the question is, what kind of socialist policies are being implemented, and at what level of oppression? And I would say that Venezuela is much more oppressive to business than a place like Denmark, where they might just be taxing people on their income and then redistributing that wealth.
So basically what you're saying is maybe the reason Denmark hasn't, gone into this kind of chaos is because there's still some form of a market there.
From what I understand, a decent market, yeah.
As well as having, things on top like universal health care. One country that always comes to my mind that's like an interesting mix of the two and seems to be doing somewhat well is Switzerland, for example, because they don't provide universal health care, for example, but they have a system like we do. I mean, Switzerland's a very capitalist country, but they have the individual mandate, for health insurance, and so they're not really considered socialist. They're like that, paradise mix of the two.
I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, it's a very interesting way their economy works.
Yeah, so Switzerland is often held up as, in many ways, a free place, very free place. And I think that this is what it comes down to. The United States spends about 3.3% of its gross domestic product on military expenditures. Whereas, Trump has just gone to Europe and excoriated the NATO nations for not spending 2%. So they've quickly put together a plan to get up to 2%, I think by 2024, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on the numbers. But it's not like they're saying, okay, next year we'll ramp up to 2%, which is what we signed on the dotted line to do. So where's the money going? Well, the answer is the reason they can't just ramp up to 2% is because they're already at a higher tax rate than the United States, and they're spending that money on social welfare programs to, take care of their citizenry and that sort of thing, whereas the United States is taking that money and dumping it into the military. Now, you can put a value judgment on that statement. You can say that is good, or you can say that is bad, and that is up to you. However, what is obvious is that the U.S. spends significantly more basically double what most European countries, probably Denmark included, I could look it up, but I don't have it, sitting right here in front of me, on the military. And the U.S. has the largest military of the next 7 countries, larger military than like the next 7 countries combined. The whole world can't fight the U.S. with the size of its military. So that's the answer. The answer is that Denmark might be successful because they're taking military funds that they promised, if they're part of NATO, I don't know, I presume they are, and spending it on other things. It's misappropriation of funds. And, fine. I would rather have, frankly, money spent on social welfare programs than foreign wars, but no one ever asks me.
Denmark is in NATO, and that does bring up an interesting point that I hear from a lot of, socialist advocates here in the United States is, well, if we were to just cut the wasteful military, things would be so much better.
Yeah, Denmark is a third of the spending of the U.S. And why is it that the military is wasteful, but the welfare office isn't? The Social Security office isn't? Whatever. You pick your government program there, it's wasteful.
Thanks for the call, Stefan. Appreciate it. More coming up here. 855-450 free, 855-450-3733. Live Memorial Day edition of Free Talk Live. More coming up. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. Here's a good idea. When you have a legal matter like creating your will or legally setting up a business with a corporation or LLC, you don't necessarily need a law firm. Use LegalZoom.com. At LegalZoom.com, you answer straightforward questions online, and they take care of the rest. They even review your answers for common mistakes and guarantee your satisfaction. Free Talk Live listeners, you'll get 10% off your order by typing in FTL in the referral box at purchase. Don't procrastinate with these important legal documents. LegalZoom.com.
Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks. As part of Hollywood for a long time, I've seen my fair share of celebrities get in trouble with the IRS. Well, there's one name I trust, the Tax Defense Group. They're the most trusted name in tax. So if you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS, you really need to call my friends at the Tax Defense Group. Ignoring the IRS is not the solution. They can garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts, seize your home or business. But the Tax Defense Group could put a stop to all of that and tailor a program that would reduce your tax debt to pennies on the dollar. You gotta love that. So don't just take my word for it. Call them. Find out for yourself. They offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. And they're open 24 hours a day because they know that tax debt doesn't sleep either.
Call now for your free and confidential tax analysis from the most trusted name in tax. Call 800-361-6907. 800-361-6907.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us here. You can bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And you can Skype in as well. Our Skype username is lrn.fm.
I don't think I need to tell you that Obamacare has basically messed up healthcare in this country. And I'm not saying that it was in great shape prior to that. It's been messed up for some time. What we need is a healthcare system that focuses on health and not sickness. Now, sure, a healthcare company can pay for trading sickness, but what's it give you for being healthy? Well, doesn't that incentivize illness instead of health? There's a free market healthcare company that can give you freedom from health insurance. HealthExcellenceSelect.com. They give you a proactive health assessment daily, if you want it, and no charge 24-hour access to doctors. HIPAA has messed up medical records so much that one doctor doesn't even know what the others are doing. Well, how about a medical information card that you can give to EMS, first responders, emergency room personnel, or whatever medical professional you want? Check them out right now. HealthExcellenceSelect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractor, acupuncture, massage. You'll love the service and the price. HealthExcellenceSelect.com. Again, it's HealthExcellenceSelect.com.
All right, let's continue here. We'll take your calls and thoughts about what you want. We did have Stefan bring up Venezuela, and I've got all kinds of Venezuelan-related news that we can discuss, so we can get into that coming up here in a moment. But your calls and thoughts are certainly welcome. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Let's go to Bobby. He's in Milwaukee. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Bobby.
Hey, I'm in Milwaukee, where we have natural defenses against foreign invaders, at least on two sides. New Hampshire really doesn't. You probably want to think through that secession thing, because I don't think you're really going to make a go of it.
Well,
in terms of
what are you saying? What are you suggesting would happen?
I'd say you'd either be invaded or you'd be left alone, and people, by whoever wants to take you over the first.
So the U.S. government, or
who wants to take over the Bahamas? Because they're not very well guarded. They don't even have a military.
Yeah, they're living at the forbearance of their neighbors.
Yeah, it's a great question.
The basic idea that New Hampshire would have to have their own army, their own navy, their own federal government, their own currency, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It just isn't going to happen.
Well, that's a very negative view.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen either. But how long do you think the United States federal government has?
It's going to live
I have
forever.
the slightest idea. I guess a few hundred years.
It's
more.
Let me give you a timeline. Wait, let me give you a timeline here. When George Bush came into office, the national debt was $5 trillion. When he left, it was $10 trillion. When Obama left the office,
it's a nit.
What's this?
It's a nit. It's a nit. It's nothing. $20 trillion is barely over 1 year's GDP.
Yeah, it's barely
the real
over.
concern is Social Security. It's a nit.
Yeah.
There's millions of people in the U.S. who
You're
have
calling a year's worth of the most dynamic economy on the face of the earth a nit?
Actually, it's 1 1/4. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yep.
How many people get worried about taking on a mortgage that is 5 to 10 times their annual income, their gross annual income? Nobody thinks about it. Why? Because relative to their earnings stream, it's nothing.
Right. It's a.
If it was nothing, then they'd pay it off.
It's an unfunded liability that goes on into the future, right? Like
that's not the
Medicare,
one that concerns me.
Social Security.
Medicare is a real concern.
Yeah, it is a huge one.
Absolutely. Yeah. That one is a real concern, and that's got to get restructured so that it is at least.
Who's going to do that? The Republicans or the Democrats?
You got a third choice?
No.
Because neither of them have the political strength or the moral character to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's a pretty skeptical view to assume that Americans are dumb enough to continue going down a path where they can see, where we can see we're getting screwed.
Well,
but what else are they going to do?
They don't exactly ask you, hey, would you like to continue Medicaid? No one's asked me that.
It's the bread and circuses that brought Rome down. How skeptical can you possibly say I am?
Rome didn't have the degree of connectedness that the current planet does.
You mean communication-wise?
Communications and transportation.
Okay. And how is that going to save the United States when it has the best economy and its economy and it's basically underwater as far as unfunded liabilities?
Just like we have the best healthcare system? I don't buy your premise. I just don't.
Which premise
what part
are you
do you not
saying
buy?
You don't buy?
Because there's a lot of...
We have the premise that the U.S. has the best economic system on the planet. Not even close.
I was saying that it has the most successful, right? Like the United States is the #1 market in the world. Now, you may or may not like the way the United States government is set up, or this sort of quasi-corporatist capitalism thing, crony capitalism thing that's going on. I don't like it either. But
I concur with you on that point, absolutely.
But there's really nothing.
As a democratic republic, we aren't.
Yeah, there's really it's a plutocracy, but that's what they've got everywhere. Basically it's all them ruling us, and they just do it a little different.
The question is, where does I see it, and I'm very strong on Orwell, and just be aware that is my strong bias. My view is that 1984 was written about the West. The classic argument is, well, they were talking about the Soviet Union.
Nope.
But the division of low, middle, and high is absolutely what we're seeing. And as the middle is eliminated and pushed down to the low, economically and in terms of political power, the low, we all become more desperate and destitute. And that problem is going to get worse. It has to get worse because the economy is going to end up as non-existent. The robots and AI are going to force us to disinvent work. And I don't know if that's the real economic problem.
I don't know about that. So there's been a lot of talk about that recently, the idea of AI and robots, eliminating work and that kind of thing. But they really said the same thing. The candlestick makers and the farriers and the blacksmiths, they all said the same stuff. And then they went out and they found other work and other ways to be productive. I don't know the answer. Go ahead.
That productivity, I concur, but it's not going to be economically productive activity. It's going to be socially and personally productive.
Could be.
But that I'm sorry?
It could be.
The basic question is, does this planet have the physical and energy resources to support a population of 7-ish to 10-ish billion people? The answer is absolutely yes.
Yeah,
there's no question.
For sure.
So the question is, how are those going to be distributed? Are we going to say that in this country it's popular to say the top 10th of a percent or whatever, small fraction own 50 or 60 or, again, pick your number, pick the study you like, but a huge predominant portion of all those resources and the remaining 99+% have to scramble for the other, 10 or 20 or whatever small percent. That's not sustainable. When people start starving and watch their children dying.
Who are these people that are starving and watching their children dying, and where is this
in the United States
coming from?
Take a walk through Chicago. Take a walk through San Francisco.
I bet I find fat, poor people is what I find.
Well, that's a pretty cynical view.
What, you think there's skinny, dying, starving people in America?
Americans are notoriously overweight.
It's supported by fact.
You probably ought to do your homework.
Okay.
Learn who it is. Learn who it is that could be food stamps or housing assistance or any number of other social programs. I realize that in New Hampshire there seems to be a
look, man. New Hampshire isn't the only place I've ever lived, and it's certainly not the only place I've ever been. I've been to 45 states and 26 countries. Please don't act like I'm stuck here.
How many of those people have you met that are on that lower 10 or 20 or 30% of the economic strata?
I'm sure I've met plenty. I don't really go and ask people where they are as far as quintiles go.
It's very easy to find, the studies that show that people in the United States, poor people, are notoriously overweight. That's because they have plenty of access to food and very cheap food.
They're just mistaken. I do various volunteer work. In Milwaukee, there's something like 20% of all the kids in this city are going to go to bed hungry tonight for no good reason.
It's probably no good reason because of bad parenting would be my guess.
That's different than starvation, by the way. I mean, going to bed hungry is different from saying you can't have food, that there's no access to food whatsoever.
Really? It sounds like a distinction without a difference. I see people every other day. I do Meals on Wheels, and I take food to seniors.
Right, seniors.
Who otherwise are going to go hungry.
Yeah, but that's not children. I mean, just a second ago it was children.
I don't care.
You see, there's a gatekeeper. There's
a
gatekeeper between children and them getting food, and that's their parents. And usually their parents suck as people, right?
Well, I'm going to bring Bobby back here because I want to know exactly what he wants to do about this. I mean, let's presume that what he's saying is true. Obviously, we disagree with him on that. But what does he want to see happen as a result? 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com. There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. Coincap.io. Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, May 29th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.37 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,267 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1 cent, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,262. Antiwar.com reports the U.S.-led coalition has attacked a convoy full of civilians fleeing Raqqa, the capital of the Islamic State, hitting them near the towns of Ratla and Qasra and killing at least 20 people, according to reports from the Syrian state media. This is the latest in a flurry of attacks by U.S. forces against targets in the eastern half of Syria, centered roughly around Raqqa and other territory held by the Islamic State, with well over 100 civilians killed in previous strikes, most of them family members of fighters for the Islamic Islamic State. While the exact identity of these civilians were not known in the latest strikes, they probably were not family members of the Islamic State fighters because they weren't fleeing territory held by the Islamic State. This makes the incident particularly problematic from the U.S. perspective, even if officially they have yet to address it, and Defense Secretary James Mattis is downplaying concerns about killing civilians in general. U.S. designs on eventually having their allies in the Kurdish YPG invade Raqqa are going to depend heavily on their ability to get at least some of the civilians out of the city to keep civilian casualties limited. Those evacuations will be hard to push if the U.S. is attacking those fleeing. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports BMW is recalling 45,484 older Model 7 Series cars in the United States because the doors could open unexpectedly while being driven, according to the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. The German company's recall covers cars from 2005 to 2008 with a door latching system equipped with comfort access and soft door close options, according to the NHTSA. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said in these vehicles the doors can appear to be closed, although it has stopped in a position where the main latching mechanism is not fully engaged. Thus, an external influence, such as an irregular road surface or an inadvertent interior contact by a vehicle occupant with the door, could result in an unexpected opening of the door while being driven. On March 8th, NHTSA contacted BMW after receiving complaints from customers. The complaints involved two issues: where the door cannot close before driving off, and another where the door could become unexpectedly open while driving. After a review, the BMW problem solution team came to the conclusion that it could be possible for a door to unexpectedly open while driving in the case where one of the hardware components of the latch or door handle could fail. The documents did not say if the problem had caused any crashes or injuries. BMW says they are currently determining a remedy. The company also noted to the NHTSA that the issue is related to the 2012 recall of 7,485 model years 2005 to 2007 7 Series vehicles. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend a Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend a Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Reuters reports the United States government might ban laptops from aircraft cabins on all flights into and out of the country as part of a ramped-up effort to protect against potential security threats, according to the Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly. In an interview on Fox News Sunday, Kelly said the United States planned to raise the bar on airline security, including tightening screenings of carry-on items. Kelly said that's the thing that they are obsessed with, the terrorists, the idea of knocking down an airplane in flight, particularly if it's a U.S. carrier, particularly if it's full of U.S. people. In March, the government imposed restrictions on large electronic devices in aircraft cabins on flights from 10 airports, including the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Turkey. Kelly said the move would be part of a broader airline security effort to combat what he calls a real sophisticated threat. He said no decision has been made as to the timing of any ban. Airlines are concerned that a broad ban on laptops might erode customer demand. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A new Gallup poll found that the GOP has an overwhelming advantage among young people who look like old men. The poll shows Republicans hold a solid lead among the coveted elderly youth demographic, including 18 to 24-year-olds who wear suspenders and bow ties to class every day. I'm joined by Republican strategist Rob Powell. These are pretty encouraging numbers for the GOP, aren't they?
Yeah, of course, it's very encouraging. Millennials who look like they're permanently dressed for boat trips are a rapidly growing segment of the population.
And according to the survey, the prematurely aged are also very politically active.
Absolutely. Only about 20% of young people vote overall, but there's almost 100% turnout among youth that dress like a dad from a 1950s sitcom.
Now, what about the criticism that the GOP only appeals to white men?
Not true. We also have a lot of support among sorority girls that wear pantsuits and pearls, paunchy Chinese college students, and we're making inroads among African American ham radio enthusiasts.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, launching into the third hour of the program. As always, we invite you to take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever is on your mind here on this live Memorial Day edition of Free Talk Live. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian. Melanie. Oh, sorry, Melanie. Try that again.
Melanie.
And Mark.
It's working now. All right. So we had a guy on the line. I think his name was Barry or something like that. Anyway, he's gone now. He dropped off during the news break, and we'd invited him to stick around because he had called in and was complaining about, well, first he attacked the idea of secession, saying that would never work. But then we sort of got off onto other topics.
Not everybody on this show has the same feelings about secession. I think that states should have certainly more autonomy than they do now. I tend to agree with you on the concepts. A state should be able to secede. However, I don't think that it's particularly practical from sort of in today's modern society. Secession doesn't make as much sense to me as a great deal of nullification.
Yeah, I mean, nullification is a fine first step on the way to secession, but ultimately I think that places are better off when they cut loose completely from their political masters. Regardless, that wasn't where the conversation went to. The conversation went to him complaining that he believes that people are starving.
He was complaining about the lack of social welfare in highly leftist cities.
In America, saying that Chicago and San Francisco.
He
said San Francisco and Chicago. He was calling from Milwaukee, and he says he works at food programs in Milwaukee, but he also specifically cited Chicago and San Francisco of places where children are starving, is what he had claimed. They were going to sleep hungry, he says. And so we invited him to stick around. Oh, he's back. Here he is, Bobby in Milwaukee. I'm glad that you called back, Bobby, because I wanted to know, where were you driving at with your commentary about the alleged starvation happening in the United States? What do you want to see happen there?
I worked in Chicago for several years, volunteered there as well. Saw the same thing in both of those places where I worked. Chicago was a few years. San Francisco Bay Area was 10 years. And I saw the same hunger night after night, year after year, in both of those cities, as well as Milwaukee is a smaller town. It's like a third-tier city, but Chicago is a big place. People from all walks of life, rich, poor. The most revealing, I think, that I'd ever seen was doing the Christmas dinner. The community Christmas dinner. Anybody and everybody can come at Glide Methodist Memorial Church, which is kind of playing down. They're a social service agency. Something like 6,000 people would come during the Christmas feast, and it would be all sorts of people that you'd never guess. The guy in the window at the teller from 3 or 4 different banks, they'd all be there. I mean, they'd get food stamps because it's so expensive to live there. Same as in Chicago, same as in Milwaukee, all sorts of people. These are not bad people. These are people living in systems that are structured to keep them right where they are. The social stature that a person is born to in the United States is almost certainly the highest they'll ever reach.
That's not true. There's a lot of evidence that stands in the way of that. Now, the social strata may not change as far as population, but people move through that strata as they age, and there's evidence aplenty that that's true. It may be true that somebody who is illiterate working as a as a clerk or something like that is not going to move up very well. That they're going to have to do some kind of educating to better themselves. But I've got all kinds of organizations out there that'll give you all kinds of information on how people do move through the strata.
We're apparently looking at different information sources. Where do you arrive at such a, and this is kind of a harsh word, but such a cynical view of who America is populated with and what crummy, lazy, etc. creatures we are? Because it really comes across very strongly.
Sure. Well, I'm not saying that people are crummy or lazy, but I am saying that they're educated by the government, and the government sucks at it. So the Huffington Post, not exactly a conservative rag, if you'll get my drift, recently put out
God-hating America bashing evil liberals. Ask anyone. Sorry.
Who's bashing evil liberals?
Ariana Huffington is God-hating America bashing evil liberal.
I got you.
Never mind. Go on. She was brought out by corporate interests, but I was being snarky.
Understood. This article is not exactly new, but I think it probably was when they were bought out. But the article says that 19-point-something% of graduates, not dropouts, graduates of the government school systems are functionally illiterate. And in some communities, I suspect they're ethnic communities, those numbers are as high as 40%. Now, how is a person...
something like a 60% graduation rate. It's frightening.
Right. And one would presume that the people that don't graduate have a even higher level of functional illiteracy. Now, let me ask you this. How can you give an organization, the government, the control over a child for 13 years, have them so abjectly fail in solving that problem, and then want the government to go in and solve more problems? I mean,
I want them to find what works, and then...
They can't. They don't have the incentives. I mean, even Keynes
I'm a perfect example that in fact public schools can work just fine if they're well staffed and well funded. I grew up in a suburb of Milwaukee.
You have the single best funded government school system in the world, better than any Scandinavian country you want to look at, and it still has the results that it has.
Which is to say inferior to the Scandinavian countries.
Far too erratic.
What's erratic?
Public schools, the outcomes are incredibly erratic.
Yeah, sure.
If I look at my high school peers, we did very well because we had highly competent instructors, and they had plenty of financial and facility resources, the physical plant and equipment, to educate us. And most importantly, they wanted to. They weren't beaten down by the administration to try and toe the test line. But
the government school systems were failing before No Child Left Behind.
Our government, they're
not my government.
Schools.
You can have them because they stink. They're the government to me.
So, okay, you got the government that you work for and pay for.
How come I don't?
Our government, whether you like it or not.
I've got the government that's imposed upon me.
Yeah, we're victims of that government. They force themselves upon us by the threat of violence. If we don't fund their operations, whether we like them or not, they're going to come and send men with guns after us.
I personally don't want to pay for war. I'm a Quaker. I'm a pacifist, and you can't give me one good reason why I should have to pay, like I'm responsible for the wars of this government. There's not one.
You take the benefits of being an American. There's a price to be paid for that. It used to be conscription. It still is an expectation that you're going to vote based on learning what the issues are.
Voted. None of my candidates have ever won.
Well, then it sounds like you need either better campaigning
vote harder.
Or better candidates.
You need to vote harder.
Voted for Carter?
That was a vote harder. I was not old enough to vote for Carter.
Oh, harder. Vote more frequently. Do it the way they do in Chicago.
That's
vote
right.
early, vote often.
Yeah, because Chicago's working so well. It's got starving children, according to you.
So what are the benefits of...
the government is the most inefficient organizational model that the world has ever seen, and here you are advocating for it to do more. I advocated for it to do less.
My advocacy is that we do things better. Start by simplifying the nature of
Just hire the right people. Just hire the right bureaucrats.
I want to do it better,
elect the right politicians.
My objection isn't with the bureaucrats. Bureaucrats actually can do a pretty good job if you've got a repeatable and a predictable flow of tasks.
Only when you compare them to other bureaucrats.
Okay, so if you give them work that I would expect a computer to be able to handle, then they do a good job.
Now you're catching into my train of thought.
I don't think you heard what she said.
What's that?
Did you hear what she said?
She said that there are very few things that a bureaucrat can do that a computer can't. And that's exactly where I was heading before your break, that vast swaths of the modern post-industrial economy, the information economy, are going to be automated clean out of existence between mechanical systems, robots.
Oh, you better believe the bureaucrats aren't going to let their positions be automated. They got unions.
They don't have an option.
Oh, yes, they do. Hang on. If you want to continue, I'll keep going with you here, Bobby. 855-450-FREE, because I want to know what exactly is he driving at. We still have yet to get to that because we got distracted with another point of this conversation. It's Free Talk Live. What's he want?
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org.
Hi, my name is Lee, and for 10 years I've suffered from ulcerative colitis. I've taken prednisone, ibuprofen, and many other prescription drugs and never saw any improvement. I tried salmon oils and flaxseed oils, but only burped them up, and they did not seem to help. Then I learned from an acquaintance who healed her rheumatoid arthritis by using Andreas seed oils. I was so inspired to try them, I began taking Andreas flaxseed, 5-seed blend, black cumin, and coriander seed oils. In 5 months, the swelling in my hands was so reduced, I was able to see my knuckles for the first time in 5 years. I've been off all medications for 13 months, and by using only Andreas seed oils, my colitis is controlled, and the arthritis pain in my knees is also reduced, and my inflammation is zero, and so many other benefits.
A patent-pending process has been developed which results in seed oils that have virtually zero oxidation and are structurally intact. Now, the full healing power of seed oils is available to you via the Andreas seed oils. Call Synergistic Nutrition at 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com. That's sacredseedoils.com.
Are you making sense to the boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population and control most of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, Memorial Day edition of the show. You dial toll-free. Join us right here on the radio. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Mark, can you tell me about hope hope.freetalklive.com.
Yeah, hope.freetalklive.com is a project that we have embarked on to help build an orphanage in Jinja, Uganda. I've been keeping a very close eye. They just poured the concrete for the steps up to the second floor today, and we're looking to raise funds to get this orphanage built. These kids are currently sleeping in a room. It's not a big room, like 20 by 20 or something like that. There's about 40 of them. They're sleeping head to toe in the dark. There's no electricity in this room. I can hardly imagine what it's like when they have to get up and use the bathroom in the middle of the night. They probably have to step on everybody's toes to get out there. And they need a better place than this so that they can go to school and learn during the day rather than just being worried about where they're going to stay and that kind of thing. We're coming along nicely, and this project is coming along, but we've kind of run out of funds, and the Jax.io and GetCell411.com have both been kind enough to match every donation that's made through hope.freetalklive.com. So if you go there right now, anything you can make, $50, $100, whatever it is, it'll be basically tripled. So 50 is 150, 100 is 300, whatever it might be, thanks to everybody who's been donating. But these materials, they do have costs, and we need to raise a bit more. It's hope.freetalklive.com. And I really hope we can get this project. It doesn't have to be a delay for more fundraising.
Let's go back to Bobby in Milwaukee. Bobby, you had complained about what you called starvation, people starving in the United States. We said we don't believe that. It's certainly not what the statistics show. Obviously, you can find people who are hungry, but there's plenty of food out there for them in the U.S. Some people live just on dumpster diving alone. Because of all the food that gets thrown out here in the United States. It's an incredibly wealthy place. But regardless, what are you driving at? When you make that point, where were you trying to go with this whole conversation?
Inequity is the single biggest obstacle that not just the United States, but especially the United States faces. And it's going to get worse. The remark just before your break was that a computer can do most anything, at least a predictable routine task that a person can do, and that's absolutely true.
I didn't say that a person can do. My point was you're saying that people are useful, and then you also said about the same people that they can only do predictable routine tasks. That's not being useful, that's being a computer.
That's not quite what I meant, at least if that's what I said. Bureaucracies are organizations that excel at doing predictable routine tasks.
So it was a calculator.
No, they don't excel at it.
That's not what bureaucracy really means.
They don't excel. They're predictably bad at it. They're predictably inefficient at it.
I've dealt with various bureaucracies I'm about 50, so I've dealt with bureaucracies in 2 different states, and most of the time they do an adequate job for predictable tasks.
But most
they're
of the
not
tasks
optimal because that's not what they're there for.
Most of the tasks aren't important, though. Like the bureaucracy behind the Department of Motor Vehicles doesn't make me a better driver. You know what I mean? Like they're just there to give me a piece of plastic that has my picture on it.
And it takes them weeks and weeks and weeks in order to deliver frequently on the things that they are supposed to do. So they don't do their tasks in an efficient manner. Bureaucracies are notoriously inefficient.
I'm not harsh. Who likes the DMV?
Yeah. I have no objection with the DMVs. I dealt with them in California.
Everybody else does.
There's something wrong with you, dude.
I know. I've never had problems. I spent most of the first 10 years of this millennium and century, I guess, traveling all over the country, even a few times out of the country.
So what are you driving at here?
Well, what I'm getting at is those bureaucrats work just fine much of the time. But those tasks are automatable. And those tasks of filling out a form and sending back a response, those are going to end up computerized.
They really should be.
Yeah. And they're going to end up roboticized if they deal with the physical world. And most of those people are going to have nothing to do for all sorts of reasons.
Let me ask you this. I get where you're coming from. There's going to be robots and computers taking care of many tasks. Yeah. Let me ask you this question.
Something like half of the population is not going to have an economically valuable enough they're not going to be able to do enough that people are going to pay them.
I think it's a legitimate concern. I think a lot of people have this concern about the future.
But let me ask you this: I want to get a sound moral premise started before we start talking about the practical. Okay,
my
two people are born, Bobby. Two people are born. One's born rich. One's born poor. What claim does the poor person have on the rich person by dint of their birth? How was an obligation created for one person to support another?
You breathe. You're human. You are deserving of dignity by your very existence.
Okay, fine.
And if you are so cruel and selfish and so mean-spirited...
It is not... You are not generous because you want to steal other people's money and give it to different people.
I don't care
That's
if I'm
not
generous or not. You're going to be decent enough to help your neighbor whether you want to or not, because we're all in this together.
I help my neighbor, but I don't want the government as an interface.
That's the problem, Bobby, is it's not decent to force your neighbors against their will to do something they don't want to do. That's not decent at all. It's decent to step up and voluntarily help your neighbor. If somebody has their house burned down, or they're hungry, or they're sick, or whatever the problem is, they just lost their job. It's the right thing to do in a lot of circumstances to help a person out, and it's an honorable thing to do, and it is a good thing, and it should be held up to a high level, and people should be appreciated who give of themselves to others. But if you're doing it not on your own volition, if you're doing it because somebody has said you have to, that takes all of the decency out of that act. It takes all of the generosity out of that act, and it dehumanizes that act in a lot of ways. And that's ultimately what the government solution is that everybody should follow along with whatever the government says, or else they will have men with guns come and forcibly extract you to pay into whatever the system is. And if you don't want to go along with the men with the guns, they might just hurt you or kill you, possibly throw you into a cage. And that is a very indecent way to treat our brothers and sisters, don't you think, Bobby?
I disagree completely. 100% that if we have to count on everybody being good all the time, that everything will go along.
So you'd rather be evil just so you can guarantee money into your system.
Wait, so we have to count so in a free society we have to count on everybody being good all the time, but you already said that in a government we're in charge of the government, so we would have to be good to pick the government. So either way you're depending on people.
Right.
I don't buy your argument in the first place. Your premise that we're free is an illusion.
Well, we're not.
Nobody said that at all.
I wouldn't claim you're free.
Thanks for the call, Bobby. I appreciate the discussion.
It's people that want to demand your money for their projects that make you not free.
People like Bobby.
I just talked about hope.freetalklive.com, where you can go right now and voluntarily help build an orphanage in Jinja, Uganda. I promise not to come to your house and force you to participate in this program. You also have my promise to you that I'm getting paid nothing to do this. As a matter of fact, I'm paying in, and that I'm being as frugal as I possibly can with this money because I don't want to see a penny of it wasted. What government bureaucrat can tell you that? What politician can say that lie to your face?
Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733.
Do you know what's lurking in your water? More than 200 contaminants could be sitting there, just waiting for your glass. With a ProPure water filter, start enjoying clean and great-tasting water today. ProPure filters, independently tested, latest water filter technology. ProPure systems do not require electricity and are easy to set up and easy to use. To find out more, visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com, virtual care anywhere.
Free Talk Live.
It's not just zoning rules, it's everything.
It's true.
It's everything.
There's so many rules.
So many laws. You can't possibly know them. It's physically an impossibility to know the laws. You know not to hurt other people. I don't need a law telling me to do that. But the rest of them, totally inaccessible.
It's true.
It's written in legalese. If you don't have training in reading that crap, it might as well be a foreign language. And as you pointed out, it doesn't matter if you can read it.
I thought I had them dead to rights. And these bureaucrats, they just like, no, we do whatever we want here at the zoning board.
Yeah, that's right.
And you'll kiss our butts.
Peon, serf, slave.
You'll do what we say.
Yeah. Why label them citizens?
Oh.
Why not just call it what it is? You're a serf. You're a slave.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict, or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free, take control of the airwaves, bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. With you tonight, you've got Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
And don't forget, if you want to save big time on your purchases over at Amazon, just go to saveatpurse.com. You can load up your Amazon shopping wish list with the stuff that you want. And maybe you want to get 20% off. It's pretty easy to do. We were talking about things that sounded too good to be true. This is definitely one of those things that sounds too good to be true, but we have the experience to know that it is real, and it is not a Ponzi scheme.
Well, and they're not guaranteeing you 20% off every 90 days, so it's more of a realistic promise.
Yeah, what you're doing is you have to have cryptocurrency like Bitcoin in order to make this happen. If you've just got dollars, sorry, you can't use saveatpurse.com. You can go and sign up for an account. You just won't be able to use it. So once you get cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, then you can use saveatpurse.com to save 10, 20, 15, 25%. You choose. The higher the discount, the longer it might take to get your sale fulfilled. But basically what you're doing is you're selling your Bitcoin to somebody who's willing to pay that premium for it because for whatever reason. They don't have an easy way to get Bitcoin. This is their best way to do it. Who knows what their reasons are for doing it. But somebody's willing to pay 20% on top of the regular price of Bitcoin. And that's why you get these incredible discounts on the products. Just go to saveatpurse.com as we go to the phones to your calls and thoughts. Sarah in New Mexico, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Melanie, and Mark.
Yes,
about a week ago, I was on the bus and I saw like two little kids, one 7-year-old girl and a dad. But I just noticed that there was dried up blood on the bottom of her nose and all over her nose. I was like, what is that, you know?
Could be a nosebleed.
And then it's some kind of a nosebleed, and she was coughing.
Mm.
And I noticed that the dad had a cigarette stuck in his ears, and he reeked of smoke.
Mm.
And, you know, it's obvious that it was he was smoking around his children, and she was coughing. So I actually told him, I said, did you know they threw the smokers out of the Santa Fe Plaza? You know, I was just kind of hinting, and I was about to, you know, tell the kids, can you ask your dad to quit smoking? But you know what? I could get sacked or something. You know what I mean? I don't know what he might do. He might get really mad.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty much none of your business.
Wait, so you're afraid of what this guy's going to do to you, but so now you're going to interfere with what he's doing to his child so that, and then walk away so that he can go off and be mad at the kid and we can have to worry about what he does to the kid. But you're afraid that he's going to be violent.
Well, I don't know if he's going to get violent towards me. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
but violence is a concern that you had, and so you interfered and then ran away.
Well, I just brought up they threw the smokers out, but that I didn't want to go anymore. I was gonna. The next step was, can you ask your dad to quit smoking? But you know, he might get really upset.
So she stopped at the point at which she felt she was the safest to interfere in their business.
Right, and the kids heard it. The kids are kind of looking at it like, yeah, I wish they give you a look. Both of them was like, I wish you would quit. You know.
Well, what did this guy say to you? Did he acknowledge what you'd even said, or did he ignore you?
Well, I was just lucky that he didn't check me, and he didn't, cuss me out or something like that. You know, he just kind of, I don't know if he heard me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, the thing about it is that, for little kids, smoke is like for adults smoking cocaine. You know, when you snort cocaine, it makes your nose bleed. It busts out your nasal
it could do that.
passages.
Yep.
Well, I mean, obviously, why else would it have why would this little 7-year-old girl have nose smeared up all over her nose?
Sticking her finger in her nose.
She could have a medical condition that causes nosebleeds.
I mean, you know, kids get bloody noses for all kinds of reasons.
Yeah, for sure. Sarah, you know, when you get into people's business like that, you know, you already realize that this person may decide to come at you for making these comments. So maybe it would behoove you to leave people alone in the future. I mean, even though they may be doing something that you disagree with, is it really any of your business? You don't even know these people.
I mean, and do you know that he even smokes in front of the kids? Maybe he doesn't. A lot of people do that.
Well, the thing is, I was in the bus. There was no smoking, but he reeked. I could just imagine what he was doing at home. So,
she could just imagine.
My thing is, yeah. Well, the thing is, you know what? Actually, on APS, the Albuquerque Public School, it's for no smoking at all, not even in the parking lot or around kids. But what good is it when you send the kids home and their parents killed them at home and they're in their cars? You know, that's what the...
So you would like to stop parents from smoking at home, wouldn't you? You'd like to pass some sort of law that makes it illegal to smoke inside someone's home if they have kids?
Well, of course.
Now, what should the punishment be? What should the punishment be for a parent?
Somebody's going to do it, so you're going to have a punishment. A law with no punishment has no teeth.
Right. So what should the punishment be?
Well, you know something? I think they need to go and be instructed. That these
re-education camps. Okay. Now, are we talking about taking the parent out of the home for the instruction and putting them in like a camp?
Right. Is this just a day class, or are they allowed to come home at night and sleep with their family, or do they have to go away for
a
weeks
period of time? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Anything like day class will work, but I think there should be somebody.
Look,
how many days?
How many people do you think go into county jail and are without cigarettes for weeks and months
or years,
and then get out, and the first thing they do is get out and suck on a delicious cigarette?
Ew, no, gross.
Okay,
that is
so
what they do.
That's what they do.
I think that the kids here kind of have three options, and maybe there's more I'm not seeing. I would like anybody to point out any I'm missing. I think that there's three options for the kids. A, they lose their parents temporarily, maybe. B, they're around cigarette smoke, or C, they're around a parent withdrawing from nicotine. Which one of those situations, if you had to pick between the three, do you think is best for the kid?
Well, I don't know, maybe like a withdrawal.
I'd say being around a withdrawing parent. I mean, if a parent's actually trying to quit smoking, then getting through a few weeks of
Well, but
testy
we're not talking
parents,
about
no
somebody
big deal.
who's trying to quit smoking. We're talking about someone who's having the state tell them they can't smoke. So you think that an angry, potentially violent person is better than cigarette smoke?
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying that they need to be instructed and be encouraged, like a social. That somebody should go in and inspect the home, and maybe ask the kid if they're smoking and be taught or something.
Smoking
I don't necessarily
inspectors.
want
All
the
right.
kids
So
to
if
take it away.
so let me just see if I'm following you here. So you're saying that there should be anybody who is suspected of smoking in their home with children should have a smoking inspector from the city of Albuquerque, should come in there and should poke around. Maybe they'll find an ashtray or a butt or a pack of
Which
cigarettes
still wouldn't
or something.
prove that they're smoking with the kids there.
True. But they'll find some sort of circumstantial evidence of smoking having been going on. And so then they will then tell that person that they now need to go to a day camp. And now how many days will they have to go into the camp for, Sarah, do you think?
Maybe a day or something.
Just
or
one day.
To be instructed that is harmful for the kids.
Okay.
For the
And some jobs aren't going to put up with that, so now you have a unemployed parent.
So, okay, but let's just say they get through it. They go to the day camp. They pass the class. Then I presume you're going to send that person back in to check on them again, right? Because, they might have been BS in the day camp. So how many more times does the busybody bureaucrat come in and inspect the home after that?
Well, I don't know the exact details.
Are they
but
surprise
you know what?
inspections? Do they just kind of show up and, knock on the door?
But that's not my point.
But that's what we need to understand.
So you don't know what it is, but you want to do it.
But that's the thing, Sarah. If you've got the idea, then we need to flesh this out. We need to see how it's going to work.
Well, I want to hear about the government program that works, because that's what I really want to hear. There's so many of them out there that have been abject failures throughout time that if we're going to turn this over to the government, we need to hear about this plan that's going to work. Because it stinks.
So in the meanwhile, all the kids are going to have their ear infections, eardrums busted out.
You know what's better than having their parents taken away and put in prison over cigarettes? Because they'll damn sure do that over marijuana. They'll do it over cocaine. They'll do it over heroin.
Thanks for the call, Sarah. The toll-free number here tonight, 855-450, free like freedom. You can join us on Free Talk Live.
Today, how to incorporate your business in just 10 minutes so you won't lose everything if you get sued. Step 1, stop putting it off. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business tomorrow, it's not just your business at risk. You can lose everything: your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2, call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-940-9829. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-940-9829. Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-940-9829. That's 1-800-940-9829.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. preparewithgcn.com.
Are you tired of brown rust stains on your toilets, sinks, and clothes? Does your water smell and taste bad? Don't live with these problems anymore. HydroCare's revolutionary well water systems, available at Wave Home Solutions, gives you clean, healthy, great-tasting water from every faucet. They remove iron, hydrogen sulfide, sediment, and many other contaminants that are distasteful and damaging your fixtures. You'll be amazed how fresh and clean well water can be. Satisfaction guaranteed. Go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Yeah, it's Free Talk Live. Moments remain. Enough time for you if you dial in right now. Here on the live Memorial Day edition of Free Talk Live, with you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
We're going to continue here. Of course, we'll take your calls about whatever's on your mind. You can also join us on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM, and anytime toll-free, 855-450-FREE. You know, we were talking about helping the poor earlier tonight. Our caller earlier in this hour wanted to use the government and government force in order to redistribute wealth, presumably, to those supposedly in need, as to be determined by government bureaucrats, which he says eventually will have to be determined by robots and computers. But ultimately, what happens when the government forces wealth redistribution on people? Well, all kinds of unintended consequences. He was saying that people are starving right now in the United States. But I bet if we looked at the average poor person's weight in the United States, we'd find that they're doing just fine, whereas in Venezuela, in the last year, the average person, not just, the poor, which, of course, most of Venezuela is probably considered poor now, but the average person, I believe, lost 19 pounds in the last year in Venezuela. That's because they're really having a tough time.
Person.
Yeah, over there. Now, here's a story that relates. Caracas, headline from the Miami Herald's Cody Weddle and Jim Weiss. When Venezuela launched a program in 2011 to extend retirement benefits to all seniors, whether they had paid into the pension system or not, it was praised throughout the region for its generosity. The late Hugo Chavez, the president then, hailed the initiative called the, quote, mission of greater love, unquote, as one of the greatest victories of his 21st century socialism. 6 years later, however, few seniors seem to be feeling that love, as skyrocketing inflation, failing hospitals, and the lack of even basic medicine have made them critically vulnerable amid a continuing crisis. Luis Cano, a 68-year-old advocate for Venezuela's retirees, says it's not uncommon to see seniors picking through the garbage for food or pleading for money to buy medicine, which is, of course, what we're told will happen if we get the government out of wealth redistribution. We get the government out of helping people. We're told that old people are going to die in the streets. That's the big scare story about libertarianism. But it's actually what's happening under socialism. Which is kind of weird, because
that's kind of like the least sympathetic demographic. Just because, I mean, like with kids, it kind of makes a little bit more sense. Like, oh, these people did nothing wrong. They can't, they're not allowed to get a job. But it's like you had 50, 60, however many years it was, to save up money. Like,
for this very foreseeable instance called retirement.
Yeah.
We want to die of old age, said Cano. He said, instead, we're dying as beggars and from hunger, unquote. Venezuela is in the midst of national protests that have left more than 40 dead on both sides of the political divide. Since April 1st, demonstrators have been demanding new elections, the firing of judges, and the delivery of humanitarian aid. As President Nicolas Maduro has dug in, the nation's youth have been on the front lines in deadly street battles with police, but seniors are increasingly joining the fray. Pio Jimenez, a 85-year-old public accountant, says he's been at every demonstration in Caracas since the beginning of April, walking with other seniors in the March of Los Viejitos, or Viejitos. Earlier this month, Jimenez says he's forced to work because despite the laws, he's been denied a pension. He believes it's being withheld because he works for an opposition mayor. Even though he makes 7 times more than a basic pension, it isn't enough to support his family. He says it's hard for us to eat 3 times a day. I have more than enough reasons to protest this government. And so there you have one of the myriad of seniors that was promised this money from the government that he's not getting because he opposes the current government. It's a politically unpopular position, so they're cutting him off. Venezuela is oil-rich but poor in everything else, and it imports about 90% of all of its products. Amid weak crude prices, rampant corruption, and general mismanagement, even basic goods are hard to come by. Aspirin, diabetes medication, and antibiotics, all critical to seniors, are often impossible to find. Nora Caraballo, age 67, says she was hospitalized twice in March for treatable hypertension. She said, quote, "That month I couldn't find any of my medicine, and it looked grim. I'm terrified of dying," she says. Isabel Contreras, age 74, said she hasn't taken her diabetes medicine in 4 months because she also hasn't been able to find it. She also has an untreated urinary tract infection now for 3 months due to lack of medicine. She says it's not just our health. The crisis is also hitting our stomach. She said that if it wasn't for the help of her 3 daughters, she wouldn't be able to make it. Quote, "We eat very little. It's not like before because now we struggle to find food." Unquote.
Rationing food.
In March, Venezuela's Pharmaceutical Association, CIFAR, which represents more than 5,000 pharmacies and drug makers, said suppliers abroad had cut them off because the government had not provided the dollars needed to pay more than $676 million worth of debt. Other pharmaceutical organizations say 85% of all medicine is either unavailable or in short supply. So these pharmacies have all this debt that they've racked up, and now finally the suppliers have said, look, we got to get paid or we can't keep bringing these drugs in there.
Sure.
But where's the money going to come from to pay for it? The government can't print out bolivars because they're not going to take the bolivar. Might as well just give them toilet paper at that point. So where does the money come from? They can't exchange bolivars into U.S. dollars. That's illegal.
Right.
In Venezuela.
This system, this economic system, whatever you want to call it, socialism is the terminology that comes to mind for me. This is what it results in ultimately, is absolute economic collapse because the marketplace is set aside and the government tries to decide what things are worth, and they're just bad at it. Humans can't do that.
Some senators in the U.S. did introduce legislation that would provide $10 million for medicine and nutritional supplements for Venezuela, but the administration in Caracas has been blocking other humanitarian aid, so it's unclear if or how those goods could be delivered. Last month, Maduro announced a 60% increase in pensions to 85,000 bolivars per month, or about 117 at the official rate, which really turns into about $11 at the black market rate that most Venezuelans have access to. But the raise was quickly undermined by an equivalent spike in prices, said Cano, who runs an advocacy group for pensioners and retirees known by its initials, the UFAJUP. Surprise, surprise, when the government inflates the money supply, and, in this case, paying the pensioners 60% more. They also raised the minimum wage. We didn't talk about that, but that was one of the headlines recently that we didn't get to cover.
The minimum wage is raised in Venezuela. Finally.
They raised the minimum wage 60%.
The fight for 15,000
bolivars, yeah. Can you pull up Dollar today, Mark, while I'm looking at this here, just to get our current bolivar, the black market rate, the real rate of exchange between the so-called Bolivar Fuerte, the strong Bolivar, and the U.S. dollar. It'll be a big number, probably with a 4 in front of it. If it was 4,000.
I don't know how to spell Dollar.
D-O-L-A-R, dude.
Okay.
Anyway, Cano said a family needs at least 1 million bolivars a month to put food on the table. On Wednesday, for example, Cano said he spent more than a third of his pension on just 2 items, a kilo of cheese for 10,000 bolivars and some blood pressure medication for 22,500 bolivars. He said life is unaffordable. There are old people who are dying of hunger and hypertension because they can't afford things. I know it sounds like a movie, but that's the reality. But at least pensioners living in Venezuela are getting some government money. An estimated 18,000 Venezuelan seniors living abroad, including South Florida, haven't received their pensions for more than 18 months, according to Cano's organization. Maduro blames the financial squeeze on an economic war being waged by the opposition and shadowy foreign forces. Earlier this week, Maduro extended an economic emergency decree for the 7th time, giving him sweeping powers over the economy. Did you find that number?
Yeah, I think it's 6,000.
6,000 now.
79.87.
Wow, that is as far as I'm concerned, a record. As far as from what we've been seeing over at Dollar today.
I'm not familiar with this website, but that's what I think I see.
Okay. Well, I can pull it up here, and we'll just double-check your numbers here. Yep, $6,079. 6,079 bolivars per U.S. dollar. And remember, that's compared to the official exchange rate of 10 to 1. So the real exchange rate is 600 times what the official exchange rate is.
Yeah, well, what a surprise. You put the government in charge of the economy, they're going to tell you lies there, too.
Cano and others said the only way for the country to emerge from the crisis is for Maduro to step aside, not take more control. For the last 4 decades, Raul Amil, age 70, has become something of a local hero for dressing up as Santa Claus during Christmas and handing out gifts. Now he says it's the seniors who need help. We're out of time. We'll see you tomorrow. freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, May 29th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.37 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,267 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1 cent, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,262. Antiwar.com reports the U.S.-led coalition has attacked a convoy full of civilians fleeing Raqqa, the capital of the Islamic State, hitting them near the towns of Ratla and Qasra and killing at least 20 people, according to reports from the Syrian state media. This is the latest in a flurry of attacks by U.S. forces against targets in the eastern half of Syria, centered roughly around Raqqa and other territory held by the Islamic State, with well over 100 civilians killed in previous strikes, most of them family members of fighters for the Islamic State. While the exact identity of these civilians were not known in the latest strikes, they probably were not family members of the Islamic State fighters because they weren't fleeing territory held by the Islamic State. This makes the incident particularly problematic from the U.S. perspective, even if officially they have yet to address it, and Defense Secretary James Mattis is downplaying concerns about killing civilians in general. U.S. designs on eventually having their allies in the Kurdish YPG invade Raqqa are going to depend heavily on their ability to get at least some of the civilians out of the city to keep civilian casualties limited. Those evacuations will be hard to push if the U.S. is attacking those fleeing. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports BMW is recalling 45,484 older Model 7 Series cars in the United States because the doors could open unexpectedly while being driven, according to the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. The German company's recall covers cars from 2005 to 2008 with a door latching system equipped with comfort access and soft door close options, according to the NHTSA. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said in these vehicles the doors can appear to be closed, although it has stopped in a position where the main latching